Those who are watching the recording can just forward it for 2 minutes. Yeah, almost done. Yes, I'm done with it. Greetings to all of you. It's been a while, so it'll take a little bit of time for everyone to catch up because, yeah, anyways, greetings to all of you. Pranams, and it's been a while that I did live because I was busy in Tirunamalai, and now I'm free back at home. Just arrived this morning. Vinita ji, welcome. Mala ji, welcome. Amartya ji, welcome. Anita ji, welcome. So it was a busy travel, but a very relaxed travel. Arrived today morning, and I was about to take this session, and I was getting very meditative for a while. Even 10 minutes before, I was feeling like not talking and just meditating. But then I said I put up a message that I'm coming live. So I'm literally forcing myself out of my silent zone. It's been a beautiful week, more than a week, 8 to 9 days I was there, and so much of absorptions and so much of deep stillness coming from that zone. Arunachala is very powerful, very powerful. Those who have come there, experienced it, you will know it, how powerful it is. So nice to be with you all again. I know my life has reduced a bit after these programs have begun, but I myself do not know how these programs have begun because I really mean it. I don't plan anything here. From January, things have just begun moving, and I take it as the will of the Lord. Though I'm very happy to serve also at the same time in whichever way I can. And it's been my endeavors almost all my lifetime to share my life journey, to share every bit of experience that I get. And it's my deep eagerness all times that what I experience or what I have gained or whatever I receive, similarly, everybody should also receive. And I try my maximum to help in that way because I'm seeing things from a different perspective here. And I know it's very difficult to relate that and share it back in the same manner to people. And that is why I've chosen the Zoom platforms and retreats because now I have a group of like minded people, same frequency, where it's easier for me to convey. On the live, it is more like it appears more like I'm sitting here to convince something or sitting here to market myself or sitting with some kind of an agenda. And that is why it gets some time to get attuned to what we are talking here. And it took me almost 2 years of these kind of lives to do so many of live where all these 2 years people have been just filtering. And finally, there are few people who have been regularly being on this platform for almost 2 years, and I'm very sure, I'm 100% sure you are seeing the results. I'm very, very sure the results are coming because persistence and satsanga is so beautiful and important. Satsanga, satsanga means satya ki sanga. Anywhere, I'm not just telling sitting with us together is satsanga. Anywhere there is where there is the ultimate truth. The truth without any agendas, truth without any mass, truth without the glamour, and truth without the catches of Maya. If you are able to sit anywhere with anyone in the vicinity of such a truth, mark my words, you will have it. If you do not compromise, and if you are ready, bold enough to see through what is right and what is wrong, if you just have that much of discrimination and then you utilize your time and space and energy to be with always the truth, to abide always in the truth, then you will see a lot of changes and very quick and deep changes coming to your life. Because the path is of truth. The whole path is of truth. If you align with the truth, there you are. All the ways will be shown to you. Even what you imagine and you never imagined, those things will open up for you. Those don't open up just because of our lack of discrimination. When the viveka, when the buddhi is dull, the mind is too sharp, we become too logical, we become too intellectual. And then the viveka, the buddhi is unable to scan through and discriminate what is right and wrong, what is real and unreal. Everything looks same. And then we get caught up in this so-called Maya. So the whole practice of discrimination is what the path of awareness is. The first to develop the buddhi, the intellect. If because without that, nothing you can succeed. Any path you choose, anywhere you go. Without the power of discrimination, it's very, very difficult. And that is why many of us fall traps to the Maya, and what is unreal also, you can catch it for real. To develop the power of discrimination is the whole path of awareness. And you can see the Chidakasha Gita, which I have begun, where Bhagavan Nityananda is talking about nothing else but Viveka. So the whole journey of spiritual life towards liberation, you will observe that it is nothing but sharpening your buddhi, purifying the Viveka. How to purify the Viveka? With the gift of awareness. It's a blessing if you have awareness in your life. You will see how powerfully your bhava shuddhi happens. We know of everything, but we know that shuddha bhavana is important. We know that the power of pure intention is important in life. But what remains missing is how to get that shuddha bhavana. How to reach to that state where our intentions are purified, because without that, nothing works. So, this whole path of awareness is all about sharpening the buddhi or purifying your intellect. As you proceed on this path, deepen your experiences with awareness, you will see how much the bhava shuddhi happens. And you will see then once the bhava shuddhi happens, doors just open. You don't have to make efforts after that. It is an effortless path. It leads to an effortless path where there is no kind of doing. Doing is ego. That is where the biggest catch of spiritual life is. We have been doing all our life. So the moment we say there is nothing to do, we cannot trust it. We cannot trust it because we have become fanatics, believers, believing in something or the other. And I've seen in my journey, it's so difficult to people to let go of their ideas, whims and fancies, concepts and theories and philosophies, intellectual knowledge, and their deep attachment to body, the body of the guru, the body of deities, that is the idols, the images, the concepts, fanatism. Fanatism will what will keep you out. It will never lead you anywhere. Mark my words. I can write it in blood and give you. It will never take you anywhere until it can take you only to a certain point, but above that, it's impossible until you let go of that. And what happens is you are unable to let go because of the fear, because you have believed that someone outside is going to save you. Your savior is outside, and so you cling on to everything outside. And that fear, you'll see how much deep your love or devotion is also. It will not take you beyond a certain point, and that secret is being revealed in the Upadesha Sara. The Upadesha Saram teaches very crystal clear and opens up all the secrets of this clutches, which the world will never tell you. Nobody in this world is going to talk to you. Don't get connected here or there. Everybody is asking you to connect to something or the other because there is where the benefit lies. But the real benefit is to dislodge every seeker from all kind of attachments of this world, however divine it is, however so-called great you might call it, whoever that is, whatever it is, until you finally even let go of that, nothing is going to happen. This is what we have learned in Upadesha Saram. I was aware of this Upadesha Saram all the time. Every time I was aware of it. But I did not want to open up the details. What I used to only talk was only about one verse of the Upadesha Saram, which come from the story of the rishis sitting in the Daruka forest doing their karmakanda, and Shiva is not so pleased because he is seeing that every karmakanda has got some benefit. The sankalpa itself begins with a selfish desire. It is to gather something or the other. And that is when Shiva sees the catches and wants to convey this to the great yogis who believe that they are doing this karmakanda for some great stuff. And when they play that game, the Leela, where Shiva comes down and becomes the handsome bhikshuk, and Vishnu becomes an enchanting Mohini lady, and both the rishis and their wives chase these beauties, the rishi patnis chase Shiva the bhikshuk, who's a handsome, so handsome. They can't stay back. And the rishis chase the Mohini because alluring beauty, only to later come to know that the Mohini has vanished. And then they realize this is some mischief, and they come back to find their Rishi Patnis are not there, their wives are not there. And then they see they have gone behind this handsome bhikshuk, who's none other than Shiva, playing this divine game to teach them something important. Now the rishis get very angry and upset, full of vengeance and jealousy because their wives have followed an handsome man, and they use all their power, the tapovala, to eradicate that bhikshuk. And the story goes that they through their powers, tapobal, they create many mystical beings like the snake, and they send it towards that bhikshuk, and bhikshuk takes it and wraps it around the neck because he is Shiva himself. The elephant is created and sent towards this bhikshuk, and the bhikshuk takes the skin and makes it a hide over himself, covers, wraps himself. They send a tiger through their divine powers, and this bhikshuk takes the skin of the tiger and wraps it around his waist. So whatever they do, they come to know it's of no use, and finally they come to see that he is none other than Shiva. Realizing their mistake, they fall at his feet, and that is where Krishna gives them this Upadesha. Lord Shiva gives them this Upadesha. Upadesha, that what have you been doing? The rishis justify that they have been doing this karma kanda for some reasons. And he points out, this is what you have been doing. You have been creating this kind of a shakti for yourself, your tapavala, and then using it for your personal desires, your personal needs and vengeance. And they have nothing to hide now because everything is proven. And this is the Leela of Shiva. He wanted to prove and give them this first-hand experience of what they are doing. And then when Shiva insists that they are stuck in this karma kanda, have not been rising up, the rishis say, now the rishis justify their action, saying that now we have been doing this yagya, this karma kanda, for the benefit of the human mankind. We are doing it to save the human mankind. And Shiva says, you have been saving them, but who is going to save you? You are liberating then mankind, but when are you going to liberate yourself? Lifetime after lifetime, you are here doing the same job of saving the humanity. When are you going to save yourself? And that is when they get the understanding of what they have been doing. The whole concept goes on. You cannot get rid of your punarapi janmam, punarapi marnam until you stop karma, karma kanda, karma. Any karma you do has an equal and opposite reaction. Any karma, even if it is for the greatest good, it still creates a fruit, and that is what Shiva gives them the wisdom and the Upadesha, saying that the moment you create even a good karma, there is a fruit following it, and to reap that fruit, you have to take birth. So there is no escape from that birth. True liberation can come only when the karma ceases, the action ceases. So that is where the whole concept of doing to being, if you have seen, I've been doing this for months now. I've been talking on this for months, for moving from doing to being. There is no doing. The doership has to go, because it is the doership that creates karma. Even if you are doing any divine, even the most divine, let's say you are doing tapas, it still creates karma. So it's going to the extreme of finding, extreme, deep, and finding even the subtle causes of your rebirth. These are the subtle causes of your rebirth. So to a certain extent, the karma kanda can purify you and take you on a journey where you can slowly work on so many levels of your life and purify it, and come to a level where the jnana starts coming up. All the karma kanda is needed. It's not that the karma kanda is not needed. It's not that the karma kanda is looked down upon. All these margas are beautiful, but this message is only for the mumukshus, the seekers, the intense seekers of liberation. And that is why, and what I told you just now, it is just the Sara, just the basics, the foundation of Upadesha Saram. From here, 30 verses opens up, and each verse is worth contemplating. So out of the 3 days, 2 almost whole days we spent in revealing the Upadesha Saram, not just by reading and understanding it intellectually, but by meditating upon each verse, opening it up in its fullness, and then comparing it with our personal and daily life, practical life, and seeing where are we standing. So it was a beautiful journey, very deep journey, very divine. And I'm glad that few had the courage to look into something called Upadesha Saram, which is a very high sacred scripture. This is equivalent to Brahmagyan, equivalent. So once you understand these details, you know where you stand in life on your personal spiritual journey. And I can vouch 100% and tell any seeker I can just catch and ask them, they will never know where they are on the journey, however evolved they are. They will never know the clarity of where and what ahead of this. They must have done so many things, but they do not know where and how it is going to go, proceed further. I've even seen so much of the Western crowd in Tirunamalai who come for Atma Vichara, the self inquiry, and remain confused for years, not knowing the exact catch of it, but the repetitive mantra is going on. Who am I? Who am I? They're just trying to find the I, the self, through their intellectual knowledge, which is very difficult. You can never find yourself or analyze the self with your logic mind, which even the Upadesha Saram says. And Upadesha Saram leads to Atma Vichara. It gives the clarity that the final stage of all evolution of all seekers is nothing but Atma Vichara. Before Atma Vichara, to be eligible for Atma Vichara, you need all other paths. All other paths only lead you to the worthiness of being able to do Atma Vichara, the self inquiry, which Ramana Bhagwan called it as the who am I technique. So, who am I? You cannot directly jump into until you have clarified a certain details of your life. So, that is why many people, even if they pick up the who am I book and try to contemplate it, it's very difficult because you are operating from the mind level. To cut out the mind level and to understand that you are consciousness first, you are awareness first, is what the platform of shifting into awareness is bridging. Once this practice is very clear that you are not this body consciousness, and once you are able to relate to yourself as this presence, which I am doing so many seminars now, webinars on living in your presence, if you activate that, it's very easy to proceed further. That activation of you as not the body is needed, and activation means it is not as any kind of a diksha or something like that. It is through practice we activate that energy body, that subtle body within us, and we realize that we are that energy, we are that body, we are that subtle body, we are that presence. Once we know that we are not this body consciousness, this I, this false I-ness, then it's easy for us to relate to that divine presence that we are, and we live in this world as presence. Living in this world as presence means you are neutral. You don't have to leave the world. You can be in the world, take care of all your duties and responsibilities, but as presence. I teach people to live in awareness with their eyes open. No meditations we do with eyes closed. For me, that is intoxication. I tell that is equivalent to a drunkard taking wine or liquor to forget all his miseries and close his eyes and remain in an intoxicated state so that his mind can escape his own worries, his own problems, and the problems that he faces in his life. Sitting with your eyes closed for hours, even for hours in a closed room, is equivalent to this drunkard state, is what I explained to them. Because the moment you come out of meditation, it is exactly the same situation like a drunkard is coming out of his intoxication after a hangover. What does the drunkard do? He sees that his mind has come back again, his problems have come back again, the whole world is the same again. Now, to escape again, he needs another drink, and he goes back to his habit of taking another drink only to forget his problems and the world. Same is a meditator who comes out into the world but is not happy with his circumstances and situations and his mind and his life, and wants to return back to his intoxication of being in sadhana or in deep meditation or even what is called as dhyana or even to the extent of samadhi. We have explained this very clearly in the Upadesha Sara that samadhi also doesn't lead to liberation. If you are interested, we can have a webinar on the Upadesha Saram in detail. The second batch was able to complete it fully and understand it really. So, there are places where I left it incomplete, certain areas could not be completed. So, that is why I decided that I'll do a webinar, a Zoom webinar only for those people, or even if you anybody new likes to join in, you can join this journey where we investigate everything right from the start what we are talking here, and it leads to the final goal of how the whole process of atma vichara, the contemplation of finding who am I, there is your journey. Nobody can give you that. Not even a guru can bestow upon it, not even God can bestow that upon you. Grace can come, the grace of the guru is important, grace of your deities, Ishta is important, grace of the Parabrahman, the eternal Lord, the Supreme Lord is important. And when does grace come? With your intent seeking, with pure intentions. Once you have pure intention and intent seeking towards that, do not have to worry about any other formalities of pleasing anyone or anything. Grace will just flow. That's how the grace is entitled to. Grace does not come by selection or judgment. So nobody can give you grace by partiality, by favoritism. It just flows. Whoever is entitled, it flows there. What is the entitlement? It should be you should have pure intentions and intent seeking for liberation. The things will just open up to you. That's what I have seen in my life journey and with the people I'm working with. I can see that very clearly because I can differentiate with people. Even if there are a group of people who are all interested in a subject, there also I can see who can catch it properly are people usually with intent seeking and pure intentions. The moment even pure the intentions is impure, I can see even with the interest they don't receive it. And that's how beautiful the whole system is. I never knew in Tirunamalai there is something called Bhuta Narayana. Until this time, we came across it when we were doing the Girivalam in the minibus. In the second batch, we came to a place. This the second batch we did early morning, 6 to 10, and we came across a certain aspect which Ashok showed is Bhuta Narayan. He just explained what it is about, but I could catch the relevance of Tirunamalai. Bhuta Narayan is a Narayan Tattva. Bhuta Narayan means he is the filter of intentions. This is what I was told. Since time immemorial, Arunachala has been present. Arunachala, the holy hill, is older than the Himalayas. Why? Because that is the pillar of light. That is the first light that appeared on earth, the light that created the whole cosmos. That is why that whole hill is worshipped as Shiva himself in the Jyoti Swarupa, the Nirguna Nirakara. When it takes a form, the first form is light. Till then it has no form. Nirguna, Nirakara. When it takes this form, it becomes light first, and that first light struck in Tirunamalai, that is in Arunachala, And that light, beam of light, that pillar of light, which the holy hill is considers as Jyotirlinga itself. It's a Jyotirlinga by itself. Jyotirlinga, Shiva himself, which over all the ages and yugas, as it condensed, the frequencies change, the same light condensed into emerald, the highest mineral form of highest frequency. Then, as the yugas proceeded, the same turned into gold, and the same turned into other frequency like silver and then stone. And so whatever the gold or emerald, that's not important. These are just phases where it's telling, as you convert, as you condense the light, as you reduce, as the frequency reduces, they start condensing into forms, and the grossest form is stone and mud, Kali Yuga. So that whole hill which is there is nothing but the pillar of light, but in a gross condensed form, which is today stone and mud. As the frequency now increases of the planet and things starts reversing back to the Satyuga, the same things with the higher frequency will start converting back until it takes the form of light and disappear. That is dissolution. That is what you call as destruction, the mode. Creation, pillar of light, all the sustenance, what is going on is all sustenance. Then when it reverts back and goes back, destruction. That is why Arunachala is called Shiva himself. Kailasha is the abode of Shiva, but Arunachala is Shiva himself. Even today in that Jagrit state, if you can tap into that Shiva Tattva, you have had it. And that is what I teach, how to tap. So we don't go there as worshippers or believers. We are actually one with the consciousness. For that, your consciousness has to expand. You have to learn to shift from your gross or body consciousness or ego consciousness into that pure awareness, into that pure being that you are, that presence that you are. And that is why I'm doing these webinars, which is living in your presence, where we activate that. That's the first step, where you experience and realize who you are really. And this is not philosophy. We experience it. All my teachings or all my classes and all my webinars, retreats have experience with it, because I strongly believe in that. Experience is your conviction. Anybody can talk to you anything. I can talk to you anything. Talking doesn't mean it's true or false. You, when you experience, and your viveka, when it shows you that experience, you will be able to relate with that truth. That is how even the Upadesha Saram we unwind it. Step by step. It takes time. So the whole process of going back and redeeming yourself, the whole process is the same. What Arunachala is happening there. That is why I believe Arunachala is the strongest tattva which can teach you that liberation. Because the creation began there, and the final destruction also will happen there. And the whole thing reverses back. And what are we? We are also that only. Same creation. We came out from there. And what we are going on right now is the Vishnu Tattva. This will reverse back. When it be reversed back into our source, back into our eternal home, the journey is over, and that is liberation. So what else more beautiful can it be to be with the practical creator himself who created us? That's how powerful Arunachala is. But I've been going to Arunachala for many years. I've been talking about Arunachala, and I see so many people. I've seen more than 100, more than 150 close to people have been there all these years after seeing these videos. But many of them are going there as devotees. That's okay. That's how your journey begins. You look at everything as devotees. People go more into the temples, ritual worships, ashrams, all that good. Running behind avadutas, all those things help. Okay, I have done that too. But until that grossness goes, the grossness has to go. Grossness cannot give you liberation. Liberation is a process of your subtleness. The more sukshma you become, the more easier. So, in your grossness, you are not able to understand. Gross knowledge also, you won't be able to understand it. So, that is the reason I teach people to live in awareness, live in your presence, what you really are, and with your eyes open. All the meditations were so powerful that we are doing. They are not meditation, they are awareness practices. So powerful that within minutes, people were closing their eyes. They couldn't sit, they were just closing their eyes. And all the time I was saying, open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes. Because the moment you slip into samadhi, then you are an unconscious being. You don't know, you're not aware anymore. So, what we are aiming is to live a Jivan Mukta state, liberated being while living in the body. And to be liberated, you got to be in meditative awareness with your eyes open. And not a no word, not a single soul might know about it, and there's no need to know. Who is in a meditation? So meditation means with closing your eyes and sitting in some corner. I don't believe in that. You must walk in meditation, you must talk in meditation, you must eat in meditation, you must sleep in meditation, and you must even take your bath in meditation and sit over the commode also in meditation. That is what I mean by meditative awareness, and that comes with practice, and that comes with the right tattva. You cannot practice it just like that. There are certain ways and methods and certain credibilities that you got to adhere to so that it becomes easier. How much time? How much time? Ask the people who are there in the retreat. How much time did it take for them to get into meditativeness? Sometimes even seconds, sometimes minutes. Not more than 2 minutes can it take for anybody to get into deep awareness, meditativeness, with or without the eyes open. But some cases we have seen after we become so sukshma doing all those practice like 3 days, 2, 3 days. By the second and third day, you just talk about it, you think about something, and within 10-15 seconds you are closing your eyes. You're gone into that state. So this is why we use all these energetic places, the Jagrit Sthalam, to enhance our practices. And this cannot come with wavy mind. We cannot come with impure minds. Impure minds can never get into that states. Impure koshas can never get into those states. That is why we need to have a certain kind of receptivity. Only those who are practicing this can even get through this. And that is why I admit people only who are practicing it. Because when you practice, first is Shuddhikaran, your bhav becomes Shuddha. You cannot do nonsense or dirty things in your life with your impurities. That should stop first. If that is not stopping, whoever gives you even access, even if the Lord himself comes and gives you this gyan, nothing is going to happen. Because, as I told you, there is a Bhutanarayan, even in Tirunamalai. The Bhutanarayan takes care of everything. Any impure stuff, it will not give access. That is what I was told. And we visited that place. Because he said, since time immemorial, all the great asuras and rishis and all kind of people came to Tirunamalai, Arunachala. All the 8 Jyotirlingams that you see around the Girivalam path, around the hill, they are all created by great beings, great beings who did tapas in that area for certain needs. So it's all very scientific. If you visit a certain lingam And if you are aligned properly, the benefits you will get, because every linga is standing in around the hill, is standing at a certain direction, as a certain angle to the center of the Arunachala. And when they are in that angle, that kind of a radiation or vibration is emanating from the hill towards that, some science which only the Siddhas and great Maharishis know. So if you go to every linga, you will find even board written, this linga is 225 degrees accurately on that angle. So when somebody is meditating or being conscious in that zone, that kind of energy is supposed to break or dissolve your past life jada, strong past life karmas. So they, all these lingas have certain significance, and big Maharishis and yogis and Mahapurushas have done their tapas for yugas in this place. So you need certain understanding and certain amount of receptivity to get benefit of this place. And that is what these retreats are all about. These retreats is all about training yourself to get into that mode and to get into the receptive mode, and without doing anything also you receive. This is all the technology of not doing, just being receptive. But the ego will not allow that to happen, because ego means doing. And that is why we were correcting. That is how we were correcting even in the sessions. We were learning the Upadesha Saram, we were reflecting on it, how Lord Shiva himself is teaching a lot of things, and how Ramana beautifully explains it. You will not understand in Upadesha Saram, you see it. They are short paragraphs, very short paragraphs. One verses, they seem like poetry, but it's very deep. On each, we were like contemplating like half an hour or 45 minutes sometimes on each verse. Sometimes it used to go that long. Because that's what happened when I went to Tirunamalai, Arunachala, and I was sitting near the Ramana's meditation room. The Upadesha Saram was in my book, lying in for a long time. I had no idea. In fact, when I went to Mumbai also, my satsang, this book was lying, a small booklet. I didn't know why it's there. But the right time, that book, there was nothing to read, and I opened up. I was reading, and around 5.5 to 6 hours, I sat in that place, completely absorbing that Upadesha Sara. It's just flowing through me. Only then I realized maybe this is what we need to do. Because till then I was thinking only we'll go and learn awareness there. Only a couple of hours before the retreat began, this thing came into my hand and these things happened. And then the whole plan changed. Within a few hours, the whole curriculum of the retreat changed, and this was offered to them. And they took it very, very receptively. And I'm sure all those who came there came by the Lord's will. That's in the Upadesha Saram, we have seen that everything He is the doer. Arunachala does it. Whoever called were meant for that. Even I didn't know until we were there. Even I didn't myself know the depth of Upadesha Saram, but when things flowed through these teachings of the Upadesha Saram, I also learned so much. I was also amazed. There's so much of depth in this. After Upadesha Saram, my life was again transformed. So much. And it transformed the people there. They were more than shocked and dazzled, dazed by these truths. Because spirituality gives us only a certain limited understanding of what it is. But when you enter that zone, it's beyond what your mind can even fathom. And let me tell you, even all those who did Upadesha Saram, that's not the end. There are deeper versions of Upadesha Saram again, which while coming, I got some text in my hand and I saw, oh my God, this is even deeper. Every verse is even deeper. So until you enter that realm of your deep inner being, these will not open. Layer by layer, this is opened only when you are in that state. That is why the utmost important of living in awareness. Before living in awareness, shifting into awareness. It's a constant practice. So there is nothing like who is coming, who is not going. I don't care about all those things, because I know Arunachala takes very good care of that protective layer of who's there, who's not there. It's none of my business. Things just happen there. Everything he does. With this retreat, I am now in conviction 100%. Everything in our life is his will. And we explained this, It is so difficult when we were dissecting the first few verses. We couldn't digest it. Even me, I was not able to digest it. How is this possible? But as we opened up detail, it revealed how everything is the divine will of the Lord. One is our philosophical understanding. We understand everything is the will of the Lord. Here we are seeing that even that leaf which is shaking now right there, it cannot happen without the will of God. That it's to that extent. And one example in that led to state that if today's date, what is today's date? 2nd April. If today's date, everything on today's date also is, every date, every single moment is predetermined and already there. Like, for example, right now I'm looking at the clock. It is 11:01. So it is there in the ether, everything, the subtlety, everything, that on 2nd April 2023 at 11:01 I will glance at the watch. To that extent, unbelieving, because then there are all theories like, oh, then how do I create, and how can I change my destiny? A lot of things come in there, but still it disproves everything. To a certain extent, I couldn't understand it, and this whole episode, it was damn crystal clear to, because there are these details, finer details in that, which tells you how. So if it is so accurate detail, it is not a doubt for me at all that whoever sat there were meant to be sitting there, we were meant to be doing there, and whoever is supposed to, they will supposed to. All these things what we are doing even right now, eh, I know that this is not any doer that's doing. It happens by that will and is determined by everybody's karmic factor. Everything is predetermined by that karmic factor. So it's amazing. It's a very deep subject, which I do not. And I'm glad I did not just put it up in the live, because live it won't happen. It's very difficult. It's a step by step journey that we need to address to, and I will be doing Upadesha Saram very seriously once a month at least, through the webinars. So there also I'm going to add by tonight, I think by today evening, the whole website of shiftingintoawareness.com/events, I will update it properly so that you have an understanding. There are a lot of free things that I'm doing here in the live. Definitely there will be no charges, but for where I need commitment, charges are definitely one major player uh, of your commitment. While we were doing this satsang and the retreat was happening, a few foreigners came there, Westerners. So they wanted to join, and something within me didn't say so, because somebody introduced and they just came in and they said, we would like to sit and join. I said no. And then I told the people who brought them, I asked them, they must pay for it first, because when they pay, they will sit here complete in dedication. If they do not pay, they will come in and come out, go out. They will have no value. I understand this. Even it's a very moderate amount, but it is needed. The commitment is very important first. Second is the worthiness. Just by attending these kind of retreats, it doesn't mean that something you are going to get some secret and it will never happen. I've seen this even in my Gurudev's sessions, where he used to take so many events and people, greedy people, just went there thinking that something they will get, some levels, higher levels, and they will get, and they came back empty handed, disappointed. And those who had no expectations also got more than what they had to get. So all these phenomena are very, very crucial, and they are very much in depth based on this filtration of the pure intentions. That is not pure, nothing is going to come in. Do whatever, do this or that, do even all kind of austerities and all that. That will still come with pros and cons. So until the mind is purified, there is no other way to get deeper towards liberation. I'm sorry to say, all the glamour spirituality doesn't teach this. They keep everybody in the loop thinking that you do anything and you can get away with anything. No, you cannot get away with anything. That's not how the higher, deeper realities are. At least from my point of view, how much I've studied these old things in my past 25 to 22 to 25 years, I can see that. I won't be falsely speaking here. It doesn't work this way. I completely deny that just by doing any practice, anybody can get anywhere, anybody can get liberation. Absolutely no. It's not going to happen. People can go into weirder ways, and I've seen people getting into wrong ways and getting lost on the path. It's easy to get lost on the path. Very, very easy to get lost on the path, because the mind, impure mind, can give you that this is real. You might be catching what is unreal and believing it to be real, and that is what the ego does. Ego kills. Ego is dangerous. And what is Arunachala? Referency. It is the destroyer of ego. Arunachala, the hill, the destroyer of ego. Anybody who walks on it has begun their journey of destroying the ego. What is ego? The body consciousness, the aham, feeling that I, everything happens from me. I do things. Some people have the guts to say that because of me the retreats are running. I'm saying, Murta hai tumhari. Abhi tak sudhre nahi. Because of you, things run. You are so greater even than that Lord himself, that even that kind of a feeling comes that I am bigger than God. Bhasmasura. Lot of asuras have done this. You see, open the histories and see, read the mythologies and you'll see innumerable people. It is just like a robot. Man creates robot. Today's what is that? AI, so-called AI, artificial intelligence. So intelligent that it looks and almost functions like a human being. Who's creator? The creator is man. Man creates these robots with artificial intelligence. It is not real intelligence. Who has the real, just this is for example, you will understand what I'm saying clearly. Who has the real intelligence here? The scientists, the humans, they have the real intelligence, but they are creating something. They cannot give a real intelligence to that, because the scientists don't know the real intelligence is coming from the creator. That apart, even if the scientist believes that I have created, he still cannot create exactly his intelligence in that artificial intelligence. It will still be artificial. And what happens when the artificial intelligence begins functioning? You see, the whole idea is to make it so perfect artificial intelligence that when the robot talks to you, you should feel that there is no differentiation between you and them. They can also discriminate things, they can also understand things, they have feelings. They're trying to develop all that feelings and all that. How can you develop feeling? That is another story. But and what will happen? Even if they have feelings, it will be artificial, cannot be real. But now, what does the robot start thinking? The robot starts believing that it is everything. Using this artificial intelligence, it starts an existence of its own. You look at things from a robot's point of view, they are living in their own zombie states, thinking that they are doing. But who is doing? It is a man's science, man's brain, which is working on that. Here I'm comparing this man to God and this artificial robot to human beings. And they move around doing so many things, and that is why we have so many fiction movies saying that they created something, robots or something, and then robots only ran behind them to kill. What happens after a certain time when this artificial intelligence took over? It can create destruction, it is going to kill man. There are so many films. Now these robots are trying to kill the man. Now tell me what difference it is than a Basmasura. Lord Shiva gave the boons to an asura, unworthy person, because of unconditional love. Because Shiva doesn't judge, he just gave it to the Basmasura. And what happened? The Basmasura took power over it and tried to kill Shiva himself. Because that feeling, I am the doer. It everything is happening because of me. I created, I manifested things. Who? The robot says. And what happens to the robots in the end of all the films? What happened to Basmasura? You cannot play with fire, my dear. Don't even attempt to play with fire. Very dangerous. भस्म हो जाओगे. Anybody you can see in history who has attempted to play God will go. Humility comes when you understand I am not the doer, kachada. I am just a kachada. Nothing but a kachada. You are also kachada. Nothing more than that. We are a pile of dust, invaluable dust. Only the day you realize you are dust, सब मिट्टी है, तभी कुछ हो सकता है. नहीं तो no progress. Only aham बढ़ता जाएगा. The ego will start boosting so much, and that ego only will kill. Dangerous path. Be careful, my dear ones. Be very careful on these things. Because when you get energy, when you get support from the Lord, you might get a feeling that now I can do anything. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Even the rishis felt that. Even the rishis felt that. Have you seen that? Same story. And they attempted to kill who? Shiva. With their tapobala. But that Shiva was in disguise, Bhikshuk. Because things did not go their way, they wanted to kill Shiva. So the ego will have that kind of a contaminated will, that if things don't go my way, let me get rid of the person. Then we start talking this language. Doing this and all is just murderers. You're just a criminal. It's not a conscious being. You cannot be a spiritual being if we are still in that zone of communication. So the rishis also meant that only to Shiva. And Shiva exposed it, exposed the falsity of what they believe. Now see what they were believing. They were believing something else all their lifetime, thinking what they're doing is right. See how the ego can manipulate the feeling of whatever I do is right. Whatever divine I do is right. No, divine has its own vocabulary, it has its own dictionary. Everybody has a different meaning of divine. Everybody has a different meaning of spirituality. That is where you'll see false spirituality coming, because there also, in spirituality also, there is a layer of ego, the spiritual ego, that is covering it up and showing what I am doing is right. So until the power of discrimination comes in, one cannot sense that what I am doing is right or wrong. The discrimination, if it is absent, dull, the mind will start operating, and the whole mind will give an idea that this is right. That is where the Chidakasha Gita Bhagavan Nityananda wants that the mind should not be on the top, not should be the king, but the buddhi should always be the king, the intellect, because it has the power to discriminate. Mind should be the minister, the king should be buddhi, because the buddhi can see all the nonsense of the mind, of the ego, and the buddhi will not spare it. It will say, no, this is not right, this is right. And you will start catching only that which is real and the truthful, and drop what is not truthful. Over a period of time, when you keep on doing this with your buddhi, how do you do this? Awareness. Mind is the tool of the ego, buddhi is the tool of awareness. I've discovered all these only lately, how all these are fitting into bracket, because I didn't know what this practice was all about. It's only in this past few months things have been revealed. Even the Chidakasha Gita, where Bhagwan is talking about the buddhi, I understand now that awareness, the tool of awareness only is buddhi. So when you raise yourself into awareness, when you start shifting into awareness, you'll see suddenly your buddhi is sharpening. Because when in state of awareness, you can see what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is unreal. We all know that in awareness, and only in state of awareness. I've explained this in multiple videos. If you are in state of awareness, you are conscious living. You are alive. नहीं तो what the Himalayan yogi told me, मुर्दे जैसे हो. जागरूकता के बिना आप मुर्दे हो. Means without awareness, you are a dead body, you are Shava. With awareness, you are Shiva, a live, conscious being. And when you are in awareness, you can see the mind is able to now the power of discrimination comes over the mind. The buddhi starts working. There is discrimination. And that is where only people who live in awareness can see what is right and wrong. And they will always move on the right path and leave the wrong, whatever is unreal. If their buddhi is down, means awareness is down, they will live in their mind, and the mind is what? Tool of ego. Now the ego will start acting on the mind and start proving everything is right. Every asura felt they are right. Even Ravana felt he is right. Power of discrimination absent. And Shiva will bless everyone. Arunachala will bless everyone. But you might have a wrong feeling that, oh, I have the blessing and I have now the power, I can create, I'm a manifester, blah, 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 blah. Don't get it wrong. It's the mind and ego at place. And even if Ravana succeeds in doing something, you know the consequence. There will always be a Ram to finish that off. Who's Ram? The instrument of that Shiva only. That is the Leela of Shiva. Even by mistake or even through his unconditional love, even if that grace is given, he has other modalities to take care of. That is why in Arunachala there is Bhuta Narayana, which takes and protects everything there. There are people who have come into spirituality and even gone mad. If they are not on the right track, if they are impure intention, they will go crazy. There are so many who have missed out their path. So many, even in Arunachala, I have seen. They are coming from so many different places, from different countries, but got into drugs, got into liquor, got into all glamour, to sex. Asura has caught up the mind. And there is this belief that it is all right. You can look around also, you can see the glamour spirituality there also. Even in the Himalayas, you can see it. And you cannot question anything. You can, if you look clearly, everybody feels justified that what they are doing is right. So this is the catch. If you are not careful, this is the catch of where it can go. Only your pure awareness, your pure intentions can save you on the path. However divine path you choose, whichever most so-called today's advertised most powerful paths or techniques, whatever you do, until this basic need is not clarified, there is no gati. Gati nirodhakam. In one verse of Upadesha Sara, it reveals gati nirodhakam, what prevents your gati. So only people who are very serious about the path will even want to hear what I'm saying here, or even want to contemplate on deeper things. Otherwise, who's bothered? So it is not my concern who are not bothered, but I am walking a certain path, and I love walking this path, and I see so many beautiful things happening. The love of that eternal supreme father, mother, it's all there, and we are moving and dissolving. There is no other agendas left. When you have no other agendas left in this world, when your desires go down, then only mumukshatva comes. That is why Bhagavan Nityananda in Chidakasha says desires have to go down. If your desires, if you're lalchi, you're greedy for money, property, this name, that name, your your aham and all that, very difficult, because then the ego becomes your boss. Ego takes over, and ego becomes your inner guru. Ego guides you into that. Then you're lost in that place. You can never enter into the zone of liberation. Forget about it. You are in some other route. Khuda bachaye. But only when your mundane desires go out from your whole life, then your real journey begins. And this journey, these kind of texts are only for people who can go there. And I told very clearly, even in the retreats, in the start, I asked people the permission if this can be talked open about. Because when we talk the Upadesha Saram, we are not talking any more about the worldly stuff anymore. That chapter is closed. There we cannot even think, oh, my family is doing this, oh, I am having financial losses, oh, I have this 4 court cases. I say, go and solve that thing. Not That is not the readiness for Upadesha Saram. Health problems, wealth problems, success problems, relationship problems, this issues, that issues, unfulfilled desires. I made it very clear. Go back and find out those tools. There are plenty of tools in this world to get over all these things. But here we are not going to discuss that. Here, when you feel I'm done with this world, I'm done with this existence here, I'm done with the nonsense of my dualities, and I'm done with the nonsense of my ego and mind. When you say I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, this path opens up. It is only for them. So I'm again making this as a filter, because in the future webinars that I'm going to have, Upadesha Saram, please be very open to this. It's okay. People, if they don't come also, let them go. But the right frame of mind, when they come in, then they receive. Otherwise, this is not a tool for where you can come and learn and then go and apply it to become successful, to become wealthy. Not at least any of my retreats. Please do not join. If you are coming with those kind of intentions, not the place. I don't mind even less crowd, but I'm telling you, it will not work. And if it is not working, I have no interest in your money and your time and your life. Absolutely no interest. So I'm making it very clear, because somebody asked me there, why are you putting all this, um, these kind of posts, so rigid posts that you're putting? People get offended. I said that is my filter. I purposely put it because I want only the right kind of people to be even hovering around these kind of platforms. Then they will get it, and my intention is that they get it. My sankalpa is that they get it, what they're seeking here. And I don't want any other crowd. Simple. So I keep posting all these things, and I'm happy those kind of crowd has been kept away, because they know nothing, there's nothing here. They get offended or whatever, but they move away. So it's an automatic filter. So you can see those retreats also, very few people, very few people. It's okay, I said. Now they are putting up a bigger center there. They are making the space bigger. I said, whatever you do, I will not go more than a certain way, a certain kind of set of people. Even if it is 5 also, I'm ready to sit there and spend 3 days. Though I went with that idea, even if it is so less, but it didn't happen. It went to close to about 30 people. 2 batches we split it out. I never imagined that somebody can come all the way, even from people came from Malaysia, US, for this thing. So they know the value of it. I was so touched to see families coming in, husband and wife, and three couples come in, beautiful couples, to understand this. We had mother and child coming, two mother and child, mother and son, two of them come in. It's very weird to see when even close knit family people are having that maturity and understanding to sit and listen to the same thing from the one family. His will, I don't know how, but it was touching. It was touching how even people, even if they didn't get time, and even if their circumstances were not, they didn't have a plain excuse. Oh, this my I have this problem or something. That's all is filter. That's, I'm not no one to say, but I could see people persistently coming. See, yesterday I met a foreigner. She's 33 years old. She's a Russian. And what happened is I took a bus from Tiruvannamalai to Bangalore. And night Bangalore, I had a train, 9 o'clock, which brought me here at 7 o'clock. So I had to board that train, and there was around 2 hours. Close to 7 o'clock, we reached Bangalore, and the bus guy dropped us outside on the outskirts of Majestic, not the main, because of heavy traffic inside. And when I came out of the bus, I saw a girl with a small baby, maybe 1 year old, 1 to 1 month, 1 year, 2 months, or something like that. A little daughter, baby, coming out of the bus, lot of luggage, 2, 3 bags, and the baby's little things and all that. And the bus guy just left and went. So we 3, 4 who got down there at Majestic Circle, we wanted to go to the railway station. So I took the maps and saw it was just 1 kilometer. But the traffic was so this, not even autos wanted to go there, even for 200 bucks. Then I just booked a taxi, Ola, so that I can navigate. And that while the taxi was coming, I saw this lady and I asked her, "Are you going to the railway station? If you want, you can take the taxi." And she said, "Okay, thank you. I'll come because I don't know. I am going to Puttaparthi," she said. "I want to go to Puttaparthi." I said, "Do you have a booking or something?" She said, "Nothing." By the time the taxi came and she sat with her kids behind, I was sitting in the front. And she was asking me, "Is there some train to Puttaparthi?" I said, "I have never been there." Then I took my mobile and I was trying to find trains. I couldn't find, because first of all, there is nothing called Puttaparthi there. It's Sai Nilay something, that station name. And I'm searching desperately. I was not getting. Then she said even a bus would do. I said, "Are you going to go with this small kid in the bus?" Because by the time if you reach there, it's a couple of hours. Like you'll need to reach past midnight. And sitting in the bus, sitting in the taxi, sorry, the traffic jam, and we were moving slowly. I found out there is Dharmavaram one train is there, which is near Puttaparthi. So she said, "That's okay. I know Dharmavaram junction. So you can. I got a friend there, a local friend there. I can call up for." I said, "Great." Then sitting in there, in the app, I was feeding. She was feeding her name in that, her age, her passport number, everything happening in that, and we booked her ticket. And the bus was at 7:20 p.m. and we are in the taxi. It is 7:05. Then she said, "This is not the train. I think we can find another later one." Then 8:40 we had another train before the booking. And 8:40 train, I got a Dharmavaram ticket for a third AC ticket. And the problem was her Paytm was not working because she had just changed her phone number, and that got disconnected with her bank account, and she was worried of that. A small baby, 1 month, 2 year, 1 year, 2 months old. And I believe she was coming from Tiruvannamalai, traveling with that kid, small kid, and now going to Puttaparthi, no booking, no reservation, with all that luggage. She just set her set out. And by the time we reached the station, the taxi driver was a kind guy. He took out all the luggage and all that. So my train was at 9. So we were busy looking out what to do next and all that. And she was hungry. She said, I have not eaten well. Can you tell me some hotel? I said, with this luggage, they will not allow you in those hotels. I said, you wait here, I will get some food for you. Or you go and have, I'll wait here. She preferred that she'll go and have. She went, and it took around 45 minutes for her to come back. I was standing there guarding that luggage, her and my luggage, right in front of platform 1, Bangalore. And by the time she came, it was only 15 minutes was left for her train to leave. And when she came, she said, just find out how far is Dharmavaram. Then I was just seeing, I said, it's about close to an hour. She said, 1 hour from there, how will I go? Midnight, this is reaching Dharmavaram. I said, I don't know now what to do. She said, can you find a bus if you can possible? There were no buses at night. I said, this is your only option. Now board the train, go to Dharmavaram, and then find out. The whole confusion was because Puttaparthi, that name was not there. Then I started finding where is this Puttaparthi and all that. Then I saw in the Google somewhere it showed Sai Nilayam is Puttaparthi. And then when I looked into this train, it was passing Sai Nilayam and going. So 1 hour before 11:30, it was supposed to reach Sai Nilayam, which is Puttaparthi, and then go to Dharmavaram 1 hour later. Then I said, oh my God, you are already in the right train. 1 hour before you get down, that's all. Sighed a relief. And then I had no time to put her in the train also because my train was on the other side, 10th platform, which is on the other side, and I had only 15 minutes. And she was just about the money and all that. I said, that's all okay, you just leave. And she took my number, then she'll do it later whenever she can. I said, that's okay. And then probably a coolie. And then I was running. I didn't eat my food. I was running for the my train that side. And by the time I reached the other end, she's asking me, where is my railway carriage? She's a Russian. I said, what is the railway carriage? Then she called on WhatsApp number and she said, where is my coach? I said, where have you gotten? She said, I don't know. I just got into the train into some coach. I said, oh my God. Ask people aside which it is. She said, it's M1. Then I looked into the coach and I found out 5 bogies later. I said, 5 bogies later. She said, I don't know how to go. She said, I just said, request someone. They will take you through. And it happened. Some gentleman helped them to move from the, and they reached their place. And then she contacted me and she said, I am sitting right now. Today morning she messaged she has reached Puttaparthi at 1 o'clock. So she was saying it is my guru, Sai Satya Sai Baba. How he does. I was also surprised because she's a devotee. More than that, what I am trying to tell is her perseverance. That lady even set out, no tickets, a baby in hand, luggage. Oh my God, it was like 10 times her weight. The whole thing, 2 bags and all that. And set out, no, and no Paytm. That also is not working properly. I asked her, do you need any cash or something like that? And she said, no, I have enough for the journey there. I'll go and manage. I'll activate this or something. I said, okay. But all the while I was catching hold of my train, I was thinking, oh my God, where do they get this kind of courage? Where you don't know what next, and you are going to a place which is taking you at midnight there, and you don't know what further. But then I came to know that it is the same energy, it's the same consciousness, it is the same divinity that is taking her there, and it's the same divinity that brought her till here from wherever she's come. God knows. That divine will I can see in that. That surrender which was there. That surrender only protects. Her master was protecting her, whatever. But that daring which is there, and we are here for one sneeze we have, one cough we have, one little excuse, and we are ready to give an excuse. Spirituality needs a lot of courage. It needs daredevil courage. That daredevil courage comes only when you know there is someone else with you. With the ego it will not come. When you feel I am doing, there will be no courage because you are limited, that like that artificial intelligence. But the one who knows, who just moves with the flow of the divine will and considers himself or herself just as a mere instrument, a medium, whatever, even to live your own life, you are just a medium. That is what Upadesha Saram reveals, that you are the decision that you are taking, the right now, what you are thinking. Like, let me go from here to there, or let me, I told the people who told you to come here to the retreat, they said, we took a decision. No, you didn't take a decision. There's something else, and somehow, and that we sat and discussed, and I showed them how you never did it. It's very, very simple to say, I took a decision of coming or not coming. You will see that the decision you must have taken, but you believe I have taken the decision. But to take that decision, there has been an influence. Some thought has influenced you. Something has influenced your mind to take that decision. And when you take a decision, you say, I took a decision. The I comes in. But actually, it has come from there. And the whole Upadesh Saram actually is investigating and how it is going here, there, go there. And in every aspect, you are not responsible. Any aspect of life, you're not responsible. Very interesting, very interesting. And it's Brahmagyan, it's close to Brahmagyan. And let me tell you, this was the same Gyan that was given by Maharishi Vashishta Mahamuni to Lord Rama. Atma Gyan, Atma Bodh. And you might feel, or the world feels, that Bhagwan Ramana brought who am I? Self inquiry, Atma Vichara. No, this was the practice that Bhagwan Ram did. This was the Upadesha that was given by Vashishta to Rama. Wait a minute. Yoga Vashishta, Rama and Vashishta, Guru Vashishta. Let me read. Let me read just a couple of these texts. It will give you an understanding of what we are talking about. This is all interconnected. The Upadesha Saram, the Yoga Vashishta, and we discussed three: Chidakasha Gita, Upadesha Saram, and Yoga Vashishta. Three things we were continuously discussing. Because if I speak, people will say, oh, I have an agenda. I don't have any agenda. What your Shastras, which you have read and probably not even understood, it's all coming from there only. What I talk, what I practice also. See, this, he says, Yoga Vashishta says, for whom is this Yoga Vashishta? Neither one who is totally ignorant, nor the one who knows it. Neither the one who is ignorant, means who does not know anything about the ultimate reality and Brahmagyan, all those things. It is not for them. Who does not know mood, who are completely dissolved in the world and ego and all that stuff, completely absent from this. It is not for them. And it is also not for the one who knows the truth. Yoga Vashish is not for the people, even if they know the truth. Oh, I know the ultimate truth, what it is. It is not for them. Then for whom it is? He says, only he who thinks I am bound and I must become free is entitled to study it. Only for the one who says, I am bound, I am stuck, and I want to become free, it is only meant for them. See how beautiful it is? And this is given to Lord Rama by Vashishta Mahamuni. See, again it says, until one is definitely blessed by the Supreme Lord, he will not either find a proper guru or even the right scripture. So, even finding the right scripture is the blessing of the Lord. Just as a steady boat, O Rama, is obtained from the boatsman, so also the method of crossing the ocean of samsara is learned by associating with great souls. So, he's comparing, he's telling, O Rama, even a steady boat is obtained. Steady boat means one which does not shake and is going straight to the destination. That is obtained by a boatsman. Just like that, even crossing the ocean of samsara needs somebody who's steady, which is saying associating with great souls. And look at this now. It says, the great remedy for the long last disease of samsara. Who says this? Vashishta Mahamuni tells Lord Rama. He says the great remedy. What is the remedy for the long lasting disease of samsara? So, what you call as me, mine, wealth, success, relationship, the abundance, prosperity, all this is related to samsara. And here Vashishta Mahamuni is saying the long lasting disease of samsara. What is the remedy? He says, is the inquiry, who am I? And to whom does this samsara belong? Do you understand now? This who am I, Atma Vichara, has been advocated by Vashishta Mahamuni to Lord Rama, and Lord Rama practiced this who am I? But for that, first an understanding should come. You have a disease. See, when I said disease of samsara, 3 5 left. Good. This is how the filters work. This is a disease. So, whom you call as me and mine, all those attachment of mine, that's your disease in your mind. Because until you even consider that as a disease, you will think this is a goody stuff. You will feel it's a very nice stuff to be attached to your people, your places, your things, and then call it, justify it as divine, divinity, and then give it a label of divine journey in the samsara. Remember, Lord Rama was in the samsara. He was a grahastha. And that is why he was stuck by the disease of this samsara. And that is why he got a guru who said, get out of the samsara first. You live in the samsara, but your mind should be out of the samsara. You perform the duties in the samsara, but know that it is nothing more than a disease. That is the vairagya that Rama had. And the stillness of Rama comes for him as an aware being. Look at Lord Rama's tattva. He was always constantly aware. He was a still being. He was not vichalit. Nischal, he was not there. He was not chanchal. He was nischal. Nischal means fickle minded, restless. That stillness, that calm was visible on his face. He was in the world performing his duty, but no I in that. He was just a mere instrument of whatever happened. He never felt that he is killing Ravana. He knew who is killing Ravana. He allowed that one to kill through him. That is why when Ravana was killed through his arrow, he had no personal vengeance. Even though the whole enactment was that his wife was kidnapped by that Ravana. And that just gave a lead to that story to go and get even with Ravana. Because this cause was created by Ravana himself. What did I say? An asura with improper intention will create his own destruction through the stories that he builds up. He had to die in the hands of Rama. That is why he went and probed the wife of Rama. Why did he go and exactly put his hand there where and invite his own death? His prarabdha, his result of his own impure intention. That is how karma plays. So he went and poked in the wrong place. And whomever you poked and provoked was an aware being. Lord Rama was very aware. He was aware that he now is just an instrument to play this game, and now he has a reason to kill Rama. Without reason, you cannot kill. So the reason, only the reason to fight that war was this whole thing that Ravana did. And mind you, if Rama had a personal vengeance, he wouldn't have said, as soon as Ravana fell down with his arrow, Rama wouldn't have told his brother Lakshmana, go and touch his feet, for he is one of the greatest yogi. He said he is the greatest yogi. That shows that Rama was very conscious and aware. He was completely aware of what he is doing. And he did not do it out of his personal vengeance. balance, the viveka, sharp viveka that could discriminate what is real and unreal. He could see the reality in that unreal Ravana, the reality of him being a great devotee. So the Yoga Vashishta also connects to the same thing. Not a day should be spent in a place which does not possess the tree of a wise knower of truth with its good fruit and cool shade. Means he's saying, not a day to be avoided, not a day to be avoided in spending time with the truth. Be always in truth. Satsanga doesn't just mean this. This is satsanga, what we do. All these live and all these. You are sitting all the time in the shade of that truth. We are discussing, we are interacting over some certain truths. This is what Yoga Vashishta very strongly says. Always have this satsanga. Satsang doesn't mean just this, even sitting with your own self. The ego, the me, the ego is reading a book and contemplating on something and doing Atma Vichara. So I am in satsang with my own soul. That is what Yoga Vashishta is saying. Never discard even a single day in not living in Atma Vichara, because he knows the catches. He knows the catches of the mind. It will take you away anytime. I had come across a very mm, I never knew. This is very, very strange how these things, because uh, I had never read all this also. Just before the retreat began, I was reading this Yoga Vashishta. Just it was there in my hand, and I just looked into it. And the first thing, four or five things, this came. So that's how the divinity connects all these things. Whatever has to come in your hand, it comes, and things just happen. If you just let things happen in your life also without taking ownership for it. If you just move in a certain level of awareness, certain kind of awareness, you will see that you are guided always by the divine will. There's something called Moksha Gita also. So Yoga Vashishta is another document that I'll be very closely discussing again and again, because I've seen this is leading to Atma Bodha, and it comes only when the doership stops. So it has a very good connection with Ramana's Tattva, the Atma Vichara, the who am I subject, because here also Yoga Vashishta is talking exactly the same, and the prerequisites for all that. Yes, these I was looking once, there only I was looking into something, and suddenly these four pillars came. I would like to discuss the four pillars of Yoga Vashishta. So it says, Yoga Vashishta, the four gatekeepers to freedom. See, the word also I loved it, because I often use the word freedom. I don't say mukti or moksha. Freedom means, first, living in this world, you get free from your own mind and free from the attachment to the samsara. That is inner freedom. When your inner freedom is there, you are free to do, you are free to live a life that is very spontaneous. Manmani nahi, because I know many people misinterpret when I say you are free to do anything. You are free to live a divine life. Very, very different than the whole thing. So the first one, see the four pillars. First one is Shanti, means self control or the quietness of the mind. When it becomes Nischalman, Shanti, peace comes in. So this is one of the first pillars. This is where the heart is pure again, Shuddh Bhavana and all that. You're free from all kind of these delusions and hallucinations, free from all the raga, dvesha, cravings and all that. You come into all the desires mainly. You come into a state of Shanti. So this is the first gatekeeper. Second is Vichara. Vichara is again the self-inquiry. What we are telling, who am I and all those things. So it will help me understand I am not what I think I am. What is this samsara? All these kind of questions comes. What are these relationships that I have? What are the deep significance? You don't just goody look over all these things and go ahead with it, lost in the maya, thinking that it's a spiritual journey. You inquire every moment when you look at somebody who you are attached to or obsessed with, and then you try to find out where is it coming from, what could be the past implication, what are the patterns that I can see, does this really belong to me, does this person really belong to me, do I really belong to this person. You'll see it's funny when you start investigating. You'll see you get all funny answers, funny truths, real truths. So how do I belong to this place, or how do these things belong to me? This all inquiry, the path of inquiry. So that is the second pillar to Yoga Vashishta. Third is Santosha. Santosha is contentment, peace. And when will contentment come? When you are at peace with yourself, when you have no more cravings, when you have no more all these desires and all these things. So when you have renounced, not even renounced, it has dropped off. All what is not real in your life has just dropped off, and then you have this kind of a contentment. You'll see people who are in properly living a life of awareness are always free, and they'll have a certain kind of peace and contentment with their life. They are happy to be seated peacefully wherever they are. If somebody is seated watching a film, they are completely in that film. If they are in their home, they are completely. If they are in their work, they are completely in there. Santosha, this is the result. And the fourth is satsanga. Satsanga, constantly it says. See, it reads, company of the wise, holy, enlightened persons is yet another gatekeeper to liberation. Satsanga enlarges one's intelligence, destroys one's ignorance, and one's psychological distresses. Whatever be the cost, however difficult it may be, whatever obstacles may stand in its way, satsanga should never be neglected. For satsanga alone is one's light on the path of life. Satsanga is needed, superior to all forms of religious practice, like even charity, austerity, pilgrimages, and the performance of religious rites. This is how Vashishta tells Rama the importance of all these four pillars. And that is what happens in this contemplation. There is always, you are always reminded that you are not this samsara. Satsanga helps you that. The moment you move away from satsanga, you can see, I've seen so many people in all these years who have been we have been transversing this journey together, and I've seen when they have little benefits, they run away, and they are dislodged in their, they say, wait, I have some important work. Like even for the retreat, they say, wait, some important family commitments have come up, or some other task has come, just wait, or maybe some other time. Even for satsanga, we have all these excuse. Means you have taken that samsara yet very seriously. So I'm glad. That's good for you. This is for people who say everything can wait, but not to the inquiry of myself. Even my samsara can wait. Everything is pushed onto the back. Two types of people. One who want to be in the spiritual arena, want spirituality as a time pass or as a secondary thing, because they want even spirituality to benefit their personal lives. They want fulfillment of their worldly goals and desires through their spiritual powers. So most of them meditate to get not enlightenment, but enlighten their worldly cravings. Everything and anything is done in that end. So it is not these kind of subjects, especially my platforms. Stay away from it. It's not going to help anybody. So there have been cases where people have tried to do that. They come here, santwana mila, santwana, some assurance. Oh, okay. God is there with me, Guru is there with me, Guru Mandala is there with me, everything. So I continue doing my nonsense. They are there with you, but they are there to get you out of the nonsense. Make this thing very clear. They are not to keep you floated in the, or support you in all the nonsense that you do. Samsara is nonsense all the time. Now people might get offended. He's saying samsara is nonsense. But we have been told samsara you should not neglect. I didn't say that. So I just gave you the example of Rama. He was a grahasthi, he was in the world, he never left the world. He did everything in the world, he was a prince. And at the same time, he was unaffected by samsara. He didn't take anybody personally. Do you think he had a wife where it's the same kind of wife relationship which we used to think here? Ramakrishna also is in Grahastha. Do you think it was the same kind of approach that he had? So even in the Grahastha means also you rise above in that Grahastha. It's not that you get fully entangled in that samsara and get drowned in it and then say, I did my duty as a Grahastha. No way. No way. Grahastha, why it is said, don't leave the world, because your karmas are pending. Until you finish that karma, there is no mukti. So you as wise person, when you become wise, you know that I'm here only to clear up this karmic debt. That's it. There's a difference. There is a big difference. Where you say, oh, I've got to fulfill my duties. It is my dharma. It is my karma. It is my varma, and so on and so on. It to be in this world and to be serving all this, all my purposes, and then justifying it. Oh no, all the great masters and all the sacred texts have told, don't leave the world, be in it. You are using it to justify your own vasanas, your own shortcomings and weakness. Now you are unable to get over samsara. That is why you catch on to these teachings and say, no, the Shastra said it or the Guru said it. You will never find the Guru stuck in all this samsara, stuck in the family stuff, in the possession and obsession of with people and places and things. He is still in the world, but risen above it. So that's what all these texts also are talking about. So first, to even understand what we are talking here about is to first have the priority of being with yourself first, because only if you are with yourself first you can even be a good, responsible, worldly person. If you are not first with yourself, if you are not connected to the real you, you can be a worldly person but you will get stuck in it, because that power of discrimination will not save you from samsara but drown you in samsara. So for that you have to have that level of awareness, which is what I am teaching, living in awareness. You live in complete awareness, completely afloat from samsara, in the samsara. You are there in it, but you can never be caught by it. You can never be lured by it. The people who are properly aligned can never fall prey to samsara. Only then your journey towards salvation begins, my dear. If you think it is other way out, there is no other way out. Try your best in whichever way you can by being in the samsara and drowning yourself in it, and try to come out. You will understand the pains you will get. That is why many of them come to me and say that, oh, I've been living as advised to be in the samsara, but why is it causing me pain? you not you not catch these tattvas first properly. It is bound to give you pain. It will give you samsara. If you see the first indication, if you being a grahastha and you being a sansari person, or you being in the samsara and also being a spiritual, and if that is hurting you, know that you are doing it in the wrong way. If things are pinching you, if your people are treating you bad, because I know people who after sessions of awareness also say that, but my people did this to me, I don't know why they are doing this to me, my children are doing this to me. I'm sorry, then you are not yet ready. Please go back, and practice all those things, whatever you're doing, karma kanda, your austerities, your japa, tapa, all those things, keep doing it until you realize that samsara is something to be given up one day. When that realization happens, then come into these zones, the doors, new doors will open for you. Don't come with that muck of samsara here. That is what I told even one person, that even after one session asking, but life is treating me this way, the things are that way. I said, then go back and find solutions in the samsara. There are even glamour spiritual, so many things are there to keep you entertained in that, or even some solutions to in that, or even methods of some kind of purification there. Get back to that. Don't hit a shortcut. You cannot come here being lazy. You cannot say that I'm fed up with all these things, I don't want to do all this kind of thing, but you are not yet ready. You have not understood the concepts. You're not yet ready to understand how samsara is a disease. And then if you come here, it is going to not give you anything more. Because many can come that way. Many might feel, oh no, I don't want to. So it's an escapism. I don't want to do, I cannot do all those things. Now let me sit and just contemplate and be with myself and in awareness. You won't be able to do it. Because you still think the samsara is important to you. The day you understand samsara is nothing but an illusion, even if you philosophically also, even if you accept it, not in your reality, this journey can open up for you. What did I say? That is the serious. This is only for serious. And even in Upadesha Saram, Ramana advises this should not be told to everyone, but only to ripe souls. Forget telling it. Even if it is told to everyone, only ripe souls can get the message of it. Rest will get whatever they can get and make khichdi and do something out of that same teachings, which is what we have all been doing. You look around in this world, you'll see. सब लोग खिचड़ी बना के अपने हिसाब से ही बना रहे teachings को. Whatever teachings they get, they are. Yeah, Poonam shared one verse here. Kriti Mahodadau. Kriti Mahodadau Patana Karanam Phalam Shashvatam Gati Nirodhakam. This line talks about that phrase where it tells what is your Gati Nirodhakam. This is one verse of the Upadesha Sara. So there are just two lines, and uska meaning bhi English में आपको दो line ही मिलेगा, but you might not get a clear idea of it until you are immersed in that and you can meditate and bring out all that things from there. So that is what we did for all these days. So my next Shivir, the event is coming up. I don't know if you are aware of it. That's in Kerala. The dates I don't reveal here. I don't like to talk about the dates and details and even the registration charges, nothing. I don't want to make it public at all. First, I just see who's ready and willing for such places, and I then say sign up. shiftingintoawareness.com/events. Just go and sign up there. I'll get a message as to who is interested. I'll look into those people if they are the regular people, or if I can understand just by looking that whether you'll be able to go through it. Even if you're new, I can understand. So then I'll share those details to only those people. And then if you wish, you can proceed with the registrations. So in April, we have a couple of programs coming up, some serious programs also. And this is all related to your journey. If you feel that you're having a deep craving to have this kind of a realizations and understanding of the Atman, and you are almost done with the world, not completely done, but almost done. Now you want guidance and you're seeking a way out of the samsara and all that, then you are most welcome. These programs are all for that. So I have this something called the power of forgiveness, healing through the power of forgiveness. How you get rid of a major chunk of your stuff that is there. No, Kolkata is the place I don't want to come, Krishna ji. West Bengal, I do not want to. Apart from that, anywhere else, if anybody is willing or if anybody invites me for satsangs, I'm there. There are a couple of other states also where people are inviting, but since it's not finalized, I do not know. This month, on 16th, we are in Goa. I don't know which places. Maybe Vasco, Cancun. I don't know how it goes. So let's keep it open. Again, it's just for a few people. It's not crowd gathering. It's not for bringing large people here. I'm just going where the interest is little deep, where I can help in some way for them to understand, guide them, who people who are feeling stuck, who don't have clarity on their journey, and they want to know where they are and where they want they how they can come out of those things. Not to samsaric things. I'm not a samsaric person or a guide or a coach for your samsaric problems. So please do not call me or ask me even questions of what to do if my wife is throwing a bowl on my head every day. I don't know. Maybe you want to catch that bowl and sing a song, or maybe you want to throw a spoon back. It's all about how you deal with it. However, so I cannot guide you in all those things. But if you're asking me questions on vairagya, like how I'm too attached with my people, or my attachment is giving me the pain, I can give you remedies, I can give you suggestions, I can give you live examples where people have come out of situations, and we all do practical things. All these sessions are very very practical. I want to keep it very very simple and practical, not very complicated, and that is why I prefer with eyes open. Every practice we do is with eyes open. That is why, because you live in this world jagrit state of consciousness with your eyes open. Three states of consciousness: jagrit, sushupti, and swapna, as per the Ashtavakra Gita or the Tripura Race. If you see, there are three states of consciousness. So my focus is on, if you can live with your eyes open consciously and in awareness in your jagrit avastha, slowly that will enter into your sushupti avastha or your nidra avastha also, and even your sapna avastha also, where in all three states of consciousness that being which is real you starts emerging out. But for that, there are some steps which is needed. One of my westerner friends, they came for the session, and they were very happy and they wanted to join. I said, you are more than welcome, because very divine souls. So they sat for the session of Upadesha Sara. See, the other day we were doing, if they would have come, they would have enjoyed that. But I was thinking, oh, why did they come on the day where Upadesha Saram is begin? So I thought maybe it's the divine will, but it was something else, because when they came and sat, one of them was receptive, the other was not. The logic mind was playing, and then one started questioning me completely. Oh, this is contradictory. Then how do you make this? And there was a debate, like, it entered into a debate. So I said, I'm not interested in any debate, and we are not here for proving anything, and neither am I sitting here to convince your thoughts. So if you have a wrong feeling, if you do not agree with certain things that is being taught in as per the teachings from the higher ones, so you are disagreeing simply with them, and I'm not saying just believe them also blindly. Use your investigation, and that is why I'm not just telling believe. Somebody said this, so we will read it and we will believe from now. No, somebody said this, let us find out why they said it, and we are sitting and investigating and going deeper in that. So when we are doing that kind of a thing, very clearly the answers come very clear, very practically it comes. So when we have this kind of practical uh, solutions coming up, you have beautifully enlightened your path. So I was telling, no, no way, because it was all on the, oh, this philosophy says this, this philosophy says this, then how do you relate to this with that? I said, we are not for all this debates. Maybe we can have it personally, that's another thing I said, but not in retreats. We don't want to confuse people who are already confused. So let's simplify things and not bring in too many. And I said, I am not a buddhijeevi. I don't know all these shastras which you have read. I haven't read none of them. So if you sit with that, I know that knowledge is a burden. Knowledge most of the time does not allow you to go ahead. So I said, until you drop that, that's not going to happen. And if you keep aside all the extra knowledge that we have gathered, because that is what the major obstacle, if you can just have an experience, you'll understand it. So that person did not agree, and that person chose to leave and said, no, I got to go. I said, okay, carry on, so that we also can carry on our work. And very happily, uh, they went away. One of them was wanting to sit, but then they went, and that was fine. And next day, the person came to meet me again and said, okay, let's be here. Uh, Allow me to be for in some time in your presence, and let me understand a little bit. Again, I said, you can come when I am alone, but I'm not going to waste my time and energy arguing or debating. If you don't believe, don't believe. That's as simple as that. I don't want to prove or convince anyone. I have not tried to do it in my live sessions also. This is not, I don't want to convince anybody. if you if you have a deep craving, you sit and investigate, and you find out these truths what I'm talking. If you cannot do it alone, come and sit with me in my retreats or webinars and all that, and let's investigate together. I'll help you find out, investigate and find out those truths. But I can give you an experience of what I talk, but I cannot give you a logical understanding of what you talk. So the next day the person came and sat, and just for half an hour, I said, if you can just sit here and have an experience of what we are going to experience, that will be all fine. It was a little difficult, because again, the questions were coming and all that. I said, it cannot, we are not. And slowly that person kept away the book and pen. I said, damn, done with this. Okay, let me sit and experience what I say. And then boom, 20 minutes of deep experience session. And he bowed to Ramana and he said, the photo of Ramana, and said, I know what. So he said, please, uh, I have a couple of my own Western friends. What I experienced, I now know that, there's something very much valuable which words cannot put all these things into place. It's a realization I've understood. So he said, I have a couple of friends. If you can add us to the next retreat. I said, no, next retreat, we will have these people who are regularly coming, but we will have 1 day session with all of you, whoever is there. How many other Western guys are coming? So my next retreat, I have preponed one, not preponed. It's not exactly in July. That also is happening because all the Mumbai people whom I had connected to in Mumbai satsang, they just sent me a list that 11 to 14 people have already. They said we are booking our tickets, and they booked their flights also. So they are coming in July. So I was keeping one session for them. I'm not covering anything for them in Tirunamalai. But then some said we have only holidays till 14th of June. So I said we'll have one more before in June, first or second week. So we can have, so that I just told yesterday and I came back. So there is going to be one retreat in June. In case you are interested, you can send me an internal message here, or write to me an email, shiftingintoawareness@gmail.com, or you can go to shiftingintoawareness.com/events and sign up the form there, and I will update you. And if you like to join, especially the people who could not join last time, I'm giving this invitation back to you, because these are not refundable. These fees, whatever we are charging, are not refundable, because we have very limited seats, and many, after the seats are full, like 15 I'm keeping, and if 16 I'm keeping. If anybody else comes, I put them into the next, and if anybody else cannot fit in, I say no, wait for the next batch. So if you cancel, whoever is done, that person's chance is gone, and we cannot accommodate them back. All these things are there. So that is why it's not refundable. Last time also, some few could not, due to whatever reasons it was, could not attend. So you can always attend in this June one, which you are invited. And we have a little slight restructure of that thing which we did, because last time it was a little confusion, because somebody was preferring a single room, somebody a double room sharing, somebody wanted a single AC, somebody wanted single non-AC, somebody wanted double non-AC, somebody were ready to share 4 in 1. All those things were there. So what I have done is, next retreat I'm just going to keep the package with the food. That's all. That includes the Girivalam and all those other stuff also. Everything comes in that. Rooms I've kept extra. You directly call up and find out, and whatever rooms you want, it's available. Single, double, AC, non-AC. So you do that separately. We are not including that in the package. So that's the only change which we are making. And Tiruvannamalai is going to be very regular, but it's going to be for only the deep seekings. Only the content is going to be deep seekings. So Atma Bodha and Atma Sakshatkara, Atma Vichara, it's all going to that. And there we will be living 3 days in complete awareness, lifting up our spirits. And I'm getting feedbacks from you all. Thank you for your feedbacks, because that's very important to understand where we have all been. Um, I'm touched because some people are having vivid experiences and staying in very good deep connectedness. Somebody told, I'm feeling so close to my real self now, all the time absorbed in this feeling, and tears flowing, and that connectivity, and knowing its divine will, and all those things is good. But I would just say, don't get carried away in that. Just you have to still live with your eyes open in this world. So don't get into that Nasha state where you are drunk and gone, like, oh, I'm in Samadhi. That's not what is advised. You be in Samadhi with your eyes open, that's another thing, but get your regular task also done. Your job, your work, your family, whatever is there. But completely disconnected from the entanglements of that. Because by now, the Atma Vichara, you will understand. And we have not gone to Atma Vichara. I personally believe the who am I, Atma Vichara, no guru, no person can teach in this world. Every path, that is what that Himalayan yogi told me in Himalayas. They said, आपका सब साधन, आपका सब तपस्या, आपके सब जितने भी आप यूज करते हो modalities, whatever modalities you use, whichever paths, they cannot grant you moksha. This is what the Mahapurusha told me in Himalayas. Now it makes sense to me. क्या connection है? He said it can only give you चित्त शुद्धि. सिर्फ आपको चित्त शुद्धि तक पहुंचा सकता है सारे साधन. कोई मार्ग आपको डायरेक्टली मोक्ष नहीं दे सकता. चित्त शुद्धि होने के बाद एक दूसरी भीतर की यात्रा है जो स्वयं करना पड़ता है. He said after the level of purification of the mind, which the guru, the path, the external modalities, everybody can give you only till there. The purified mind, which is again what Siddhakasha Gita is telling, Nirmal Man, Nischal Man, Vishal Man, that mind which has expanded in consciousness, in purity, Chitta Shuddhi. From there, it is Atma Vichara. Who am I? Atma Vichara can be only done by ripe souls who reach to that state. And the inner guru guides you to that. This you will never find what you call training for who am I. Even if there are trainings, you cannot. Nobody from outside can give you the training of who am I. Most of the Westerners that I see in Tiruvannamalai are stuck in this because they just contemplate on who am I, who am I, who am I, who am I. You can't get anywhere because that purified mind will start a deep contemplation from the Atma point of view, not from the mind. You cannot investigate the soul. That is where the catch is. Everybody tries to investigate Atma Vichara from the point of mind. They are trying to it will not happen. From the Atman only, that realization should, that that awareness, sorry, the awareness, that feeling will come. Like awareness will try to hunt, where is this Atman, who am I not, that power of discrimination will show all these things. That is why that enhancement of awareness is a must. That awareness is going to be your inner guru, which will start your inner practices of that. So that this is all my investigation which I have done, because I have been investigating almost like 3 years now on in Tiruvannamalai alone, almost every single month there, and doing these kind of investigations. And probably that's why Arunachala's grace, it has been revealed through the Upadesha Sara, the whole path. And Upadesha Sara very beautifully talks how it starts from Jad, from karma, the physicality, the gross ego, karma, seva, all that things, puja and all, physical. Then it turns slowly into the next yoga, from karma yoga to bhakti yoga. Bhakti, then it's all praise and devotion and Nara, Jai Jaikara, and all those things are there. But it's more of Sukshma. The Jad has become little more softer. Now Bhakti umad gayi. The devotion has come into place. Now you're seeing your ishta or things in a very from your heart. The love is coming out. So when the love comes out, all these formalities start dropping. The karma yoga start dropping. Bhakti yoga jagrit ho jata hai. With bhakti yoga, when it is at its ripe, everything has its ripeness. When one is ripe there, then even that thing will go off. Then you move into Raj Yoga, meditation, deep, going within, only interested in within. Outside, nothing, no interest. Chanting, singing, praising, no interest. All these things go off slowly, slowly, slowly. And then when you enter into that zone of Raj Yoga, when again you reach to a certain level of ripeness in that, then begins the Jnana Yoga. Jnana Marg is who am I? Self inquiry, Atma Vichara. So that Jnana Marga is put always at the end. Jnana means doesn't not reading Poti books and taking Jnana. Jnana is the Jnana of the self. And only when you pass through these three phases properly can you start Atma Vichara, which is what that Himalayan yogi told me. All these paths lead to the ultimate path. There is an inner path, Atma Vichara, Jnana Marga. See, only when I came here and I got the connection, I said, this is brilliant. Because these Mahapurushas came in my life only to give me a clear hint of what's coming. Conviction. Now I have conviction because those Mahapurushas in Himalayas told me. And same Mahapurusha had asked me, do you go to Tirunamalai? I said, Maharaj, मैं तो almost हर महीने जाने का वहाँ पे मौका मिलता है इनके दया से. And I said, फिर और क्या रह गई बाकी? हो गया फिर. And he said, हो गया. उपदेश सारम पढ़े हो? I said, महाराज वो तो मेरा फेवरेट है. फिर बोले और कोई शास्त्र की जरूरत नहीं. From the Himalayas, somebody told me this, which I told that time only. I said, Upadesha Sara, if you have got the Sara of heaven, no other Shastra is higher than that. Given by Lord Shiva himself. So that's the final annihilation point. So people from there are coming and annihilating here about all this. But they are very deep steps which needs to be taken care of in step by step in a certain way. If even one is dodged, you will not get it. Or even if the intention is not pure, you will not get it. Or even if the ripeness is not there, where you have come to a state where the samsara is almost fading out, you will not get it. So there are many of these things, which is why it is not very popular, because only a handful people can get to know these things. So these modalities which I am trying to put down here will help actually to strengthen out a lot of things. Like if you see too much of rigidness is there in my life, or too much of confusions or clarity is not there, or mind is too restless, but I have interest to all this, how can I settle down my mind? Then these programs and all can help you. What I'm doing it, because I'm doing simultaneously even additional programs which can help you in very deep inner cleansing from your chitta, from your psychic, all those impressions which are there from your koshas. Now I'm not going to go into those koshas and do anything, because this is a non-doer zone. Only by uplifting your awareness to a certain level, you can see things in clarity, certain things. And from the power of that awareness, you can release. From the power of that awareness, you can heal. From the power of that awareness, you can overcome, you can transcend. Which I have told in a couple of my sessions there, even in Mumbai and here in Pune when we did. Healings happen spontaneously, but we are not focusing on that. As I said, it's a byproduct. When you are aligning with the divine and the divinity flows in you, many things happen, but we are not doing this practice for that. And if you do it for that, you will get back again and where you are. It won't lead you urdhagami. It will take you into adho, to the samsara, back into the samsara. So that is why we are not focused on anything on the worldly part of stuff. Like we have a couple of these. I am keeping all these free programs also. like this what I'm doing, it's these are all free for everybody. On 4th April, I'll just give you a brief of this month's highlight, because I understand my life has gone down, and personal consultations also I've suspended for the time being, because I am able to spend out a little more time here, doing collectively these deeper inner work, than spending time with personally with people. And I see that that will not really help to divide my time. So on fourth night of this April, we have Mahavir Jayanti, so I'll have a good, we can have a good churning of what the Tirthankars mean. Tirthankars were all princes, Raj Yogis. Actually, they are supposed to be Bhogis. All of them were from the kingdom, where they should have been and where they ended up. Only when they saw samsara as disease, including Gautam Buddha. Buddhism came into being only when he saw the samsara as disease. He was also a prince. So the message of Tirthankars, fourth night, I'll confirm whatever the date and time and the time. Seventh night, we have this Good Friday and beautiful teachings from Christ, because he was also from the same path. Beautiful, beautiful. So we will have understanding of what all these great masters also went through when it commonly comes into this practice, what we are doing. They did what we are trying to do, they have done it all. On ninth Sunday, the next Sunday, we won't be having this live, because I will be busy in this release through the power of forgiveness. This is a paid program where we are going to get into the first phase of release through forgiveness, because most of our problems come because of our non forgiveness. We have left many things incomplete in our life, we have not completed it. So all those memories put a havoc on us, though consciously we might have forgotten, subconsciously they are eating us up. And gati nahi hoti hai. They it pulls one's consciousness all the time down, because there is some fear, some guilt. Most of the time it's guilt, and some kind of a pain or suffering that is there with that non forgiveness, either because somebody else has not forgiven me, or I have not forgiven. So we go into those zones and become aware, and actually heal those areas and release it forever, because I have done these practices. Those days I used to do it on my chakras, on literally, and it was like I was guided all the time. So there were two three kind of the affirmations that I was doing, and with every chakra I used to have intense kriyas, intense kriyas. Not now, it is in 2013 or 2014. And then a lot of crying used to happen, a lot of crying, weeping, because this was a time when I was in a lot of suffering, because I was at the verge of not verge, the separation had happened in my life. The spouse going away, the child being taken away from me, and lot of things, lot of pain and emotional traumas. So this has lot of deep connection with your inner child, but I am not directly getting into that zone. There is an inner child program coming also, inner child healing, that's coming up, but that's a very deep one. It goes and goes straight into your childhood memories, as a toddler, baby, as a adolescence and as a teen, and all that, and literally brings that to the surface, and you actually re-experience it. And then that child which is stuck there, that the child in you, because the inner child, if it is traumatized, it's very difficult. You are no one but your child, that child. So that child is always seeking that love, that attention, that freedom, that craving for whatever that attention it did not get. So incomplete child which is inside is a grumbled, gruntling child, a pained, traumatized, abused child. It can be even through the abuse that the child went through: physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, so many kind of abuse that the children go through. So that if it is stuck in your being, you are not able to come out. You do, we end up doing so many things, but still inside say gutan, that inner cheerfulness, that inner freedom is not coming. You will see, if the inner child is damaged in people, they are not able to freely express, able to freely live a, a cheerful, liberated life. They are doing so many things. Okay, on the mental level they feel peaceful, okay, and all fine, but inside something is still hurting them. Some craving is there, and that craving they go to find out in the world and get more pain, because that incompleteness which is there, the child is seeking that completeness outside. And most of the time a traumatized person will attract more trauma, because the vibrations are such. A victimized person will attract circumstances where they get into more victims, and they will attract same kind of people again, abusive people and all that. This I have done a lot of personal work with a lot of people when I was in Pyramid Valley, live those things. And at that time I didn't know that, somehow this was kind of a training for me. When I was in Palampur in Himachal Pradesh also, 2 3 cases such happened very spontaneously, of deep inner child traumas coming up that. So I thought, I have done it on myself also, so in my journeys. So I thought I can take a webinar on that inner child. I don't know, I don't think it's on this month. I decided it somewhere, so I think it's somewhere in next month. Let me see. But before that, I thought the main thing is the power of forgiveness. Once you come to that zone of, because when you have this power of forgiveness, you don't take things very personally. If you are a person who have activated that, even if tomorrow something happen, even if today something happens, you don't take it very seriously. So you build up a very protective kind of a shield by being a very strong person who can forgive easily. Very easily you can forgive. So that is one thing which I want to do, and that is coming up on 9th. So if we have too much of these things bottled up, then you can always sign up for this release through the power of forgiveness. Again, even if it is 2 people, 10 people, 5 people, I will still do it. So I'm not bothered with the crowd, but who is really interested to do it. And the details I will put up all by tonight. I have not been able to update the website. So just let me go through it. And by evening, if you just check the website, you will have all the details of whatever you want. Yeah, Shilpa, I got your interest for Kanjangad. I will send you the details soon. As soon as I finish this live, I'll send these details. So messages are coming. I think you are seeing the live here and responding. I'm just seeing the calendar, because there somebody told me in the retreat itself that they want to join this, and I had no idea. I still have no idea because the calendar is in this mobile, which is doing a live here. So just give me time till today evening. I'll update all these details, but the date is sure. The first one that is coming up webinar is released through the power of forgiveness, where we will sit a couple of hours, go very deep into that sensitive area, and activate that simple being that you are, and learn how to forgive through practice and through that experience of how we forgive and release. And you'll see a different kind of a peace coming up. Suddenly ek boja chala gaya, ek burden chala gaya aisa, if you do it rightly. And then you repeat it for a couple of days to weeks to months, depending on how fast you are going, you'll see the results. And when those things, that a certain sense of freedom will start coming. And those who have too much of the traumas, you can always sign up for the inner child healing. I'm so sorry, I don't know which date is. I already got a couple of them signed. I saw even a father and daughter have signed up for it. It's so beautiful, inner child healing, that you understand and realize, and you can sit even with that. See, this is spirituality. This is mature souls, where two, even father and daughter sitting together to do inner child. It's not a small thing. It's such a beautiful thing, I feel, because they are not people who are, I'm sure, who are entangled in that father, mother, child, that kind of obsession and possession and all. Very mature. They have that understanding, okay, how this can help in our spiritual journey, and how we both are connected very temporarily in this lifetime. You know, it's a maturity. So hats off to you. If So inner child healing is a next program which will come after this. For this month, I feel the release through power of forgiveness is important, and there is a little time needed for that. That is why I think I kept a 15 days time difference. Yes, now I remember. That is why on 9th, if you have this month, you are not going to have inner child. It is next month, somewhere in the first week webinar. So I'm talking about May, somewhere first week is the inner child. But you will need 10 to 15 days of this practice of forgiveness, and you will see that change is happening, a different change is happening, and then you're ready for the next thing. Like, then we go with that kind of a practice of inner child. That's a deep program that will take almost a day. So it's a full day activity. I think I've kept on Saturday for the Indians, and on Sunday the time is for the Western world, so that the time difference can be changed out. And then 10th, this coming 10th, I have a Zoom musical satsang, which Rishi Gurukulam, always, they regularly, periodically, they invite me for that. So we'll have a live music session where we have only higher truths in that music, in that songs like of Kabir, Bulle Shah, and all those things. So there also, every opportunity that we take, what I'm saying is, use it for Atma Kalyan. Even if you're singing, sing towards, that will go towards liberation. If you're reading, take out things that will take you towards self-realization. And if you're doing any kind of programs, take those kind of programs which will lead you to self-realization. These programs of healing and inner healing, and all these things, pick them up, because they will lead you towards self-realization. Not that, oh, let me get out of this, because I had a relationship problem and I'm stuck in this and I want to heal this. Why? Because I want to get into another. That also maybe work for you, but that is not my cup of tea. That is not my area. My area is to relieve you completely of all that. Once a life, there must be a condition in your life where you say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Now no more. So when they attended the sessions, they wanted a little personal time, and I sat with them, and I saw that again they're discussing worldly stuff. So I said, you discuss the worldly stuff with outside people. I don't know. I cannot give you solutions. Even if I have solution, I don't want to give you. It's not that we don't have solutions. There are solutions, but if it puts you back into that same ocean of samsara, it's no use. See, you understand this, the seriousness. All the great beings, all the great masters were disappointed when they left their life. Bhagwan Nityananda, when he left his life, he said, what I wanted to give, nobody took. So you can see there is a certain tone of disappointment in that. People are still stuck in this only. And even if there are solutions given, they'll go and jump back in that only. Bhagavan Nityananda said, they didn't have a child, came asking for it, gave a child thinking that, okay, have a child, now you can go ahead. Then they said, oh, ye to ladki hai. It's a girl child. Give us a boy child. The greed, the vasanas, the samsara, the roga, the disease of samsara is not leaving man. A small house they wanted, now they give, oh, it's a big family, now we want a bigger house. And while leaving his body, he said, what I came to give, nobody is taking. So you will understand that this is not a very common thing that people will want to do. Shirdi Sai Baba also said the same while he was leaving. And almost all the great ones knew that, people are stuck in this only. Many chose silence for that. Many, like Bhagwan Ramana, sat there. You think any people went there for, as bhogis went there? They went there, but they were disappointed to Bhagwan Ramana. Anything that you take of samsara, he used to point them back to their self. Back to their self. So they had only one option, either to go back to the self, or to go back to their home and do the same nonsense what they did. And there were all kind of peoples they did. Some went towards that, some went towards this. Every guru, I've seen this disappoint in my own Gurudev, where what he wanted to give, people are not taking. All these mundane things only. So at some level, I can see they are disappointed. So there is no point sitting and cribbing in the same nonsense again and again. So I'm not interested in that. So I don't want people who are again back into that and all. Please look into some other sources. You will get some answers there. So this musical satsang, anything that you do, keep it aligned with that, or you will not serve the purpose. Dialogue में हम बोलते रहेंगे human life and the purpose of this life is to gain salvation, mukti. This is the main human purpose of life. बोलने के लिए बोल, but when it's coming to do, nobody wants to do. So बोलने से कुछ नहीं होता, रटने से कुछ नहीं होता. Even calling out these names of gods and everything just for your fulfillment of worldly desires, it will not give you even that realization. मौला मौला लाख पुकारे, मौला हाथ न आए. शिवा शिवा लाख पुकारे, शिवा हाथ न आए. शिवा शिवा लाख पुकारे, शिवा हाथ न आए. राम राम लाख पुकारे, राम हाथ न आए. शब्दों से हम खेल रहे हैं, माना हाथ न आए. शब्दों से हम खेल रहे हैं, माना हाथ न आए. So all these bhajans, these kind of sankirtans of Kabir, this is all Kabir Vani. What is the use? What you're trying to catch in this gross world is never coming into your hand, and you're never understanding this. It is never going to come into your hand. Whatever you catch in the samsara is never going to be permanent, even if you catch it only for some time. आज सुख मिला, कल उसका बिछड़ने का दुख मिला, ये तो निश्चय, निश्चित, 100%. This is guaranteed. It's going to happen. इवन इस शरीर को पकड़े, बहुत बहुत रौब जमा लिया, उसका उसके ऊपर पूरा काया पर ये कर लिया, फिर एक दिन पता चला कि इसको भी छोड़ना पड़ेगा. मत कर काया को अभिमान, मत कर काया को अहंकार, काया धूल हो जासी. मत कर काया को अभिमान, मत कर काया को अहंकार, काया धूल हो जासी. मैं करता हूं, मैं, मेरे वजह से होता है, मेरे वजह से. Somebody said that the retreat is happening because of me, my sankalpa, my creation. Arre वाह. And the creation, I remember, he's a very silent person, Ashok Bhai. The first time I met him in front of Sheshadri Swamigal, he was the first person who put into my ears, Bhai, ek retreat karo. I said, what nonsense? I am not here for retreat and all. I have come here to do my practices. He said, Nahi, do it. Then after that, after a couple of months, again, one day when I was in house, he said, Bhai, do a small session, what you're doing there, no? Personal sessions. You do it for, just my friends are there, some European friends, and I know them very well. So when you come here, one day we will have that. Then also I didn't take it seriously. And today I see retreats are happening there. It is the sankalp of Ashok Bhai. And he is not even aware of his sankalp. Because in front of Sheshadri Swamigal, it just flowed out of his mouth. And till today, he has not taken credit that I told you this idea. That is not doership. तो इस पे अकड़ लगा के कुछ फायदा नहीं है घमंड करके. मत कर काया को अभिमान, मत कर काया को अहंकार, काया धूल हो जासी. काया धूल हो जासी रे, काया धूल हो जासी. See, the whole process of Chidakasha Gita also tells you that. Exactly what I am saying. What does it say? After Nirmalman, when you practice Nirmal, when you have purity, Nirmalman, How can you have purity? Before that is Shuddha Bhavana. Shuddha Bhavana, if you have pure intention, only then Nirmal Man you will get. Only when you have Nirmal Man, you can have Nischal Man, the settled mind, because all the vrittis are gone. Santosha comes in there, satisfaction, peace, freedom, Nirmal Man. Dhyan, deepness, all those, the clarity and the Atma Vichara, it begins there. Only when Nischal mind comes. And after that is the state of self-realization, which is Vishal Man. मेरा खुद का स्वार्थी मन नहीं, my mind and others mind, विशाल, it's spread out. बोलते हैं ना बड़ा मन, इसका बहुत बड़ा मन है, बहुत बड़ा मन हो जाता है फिर. It's not only for me and mine. Vishal Man, that is a state of self-realization. And after self-realizing, when you understand the real tattva of the self, when you understand what samsara and maya is, उसके बाद one claims सब मिट्टी है, सब मिट्टी है, काया भी मिट्टी है, काया धूल हो जासी. See how Nityananda has beautifully given the path. ये हम आज तक देख नहीं पाए, मुझे भी समझ नहीं आया. Only when I sat there with Upadesha Sara and Chidakasha Gita came from Kanjangad, all the 35 copies with the Panchanash, what is that? What is that? I forgot. Papanashni. Papanashni Ganga. When it came as Tirth, as a prasad of Bhagavan Nityananda, these secrets started revealing. See how clear and deep it is when I was telling the Upadesha Sara. So the whole journey is to annihilate the mind, which I have been telling in Chidakasha Gita. I'll be doing that, continuing that Chidakasha Gita every morning. See, only till sixth verse you saw, sixth or seventh verse. The whole focus is on the mind, annihilation of the mind. And what did Nityananda say in Chidakasha Gita? What have I been telling? Dissolving the mind. The mind has to die. The Chidakasha Gita says, Gyanis are mindless. They don't have mind. Mind is gone. Who are Gyanis? Completely who are absorbed, dissolved. The liberated ones. They are Gyanis. So the whole aim of Chidakasha Gita is destruction of mind. The whole aim of Upadesha Saram is, you will see the word Mano Nasha. Mano Nasha is the secret of Upadesha Saram. It will lead to Mano Nasha. And he says, till there is Mano Nasha, there is no Mukti. What we are doing is only Mano Laya. Mano Laya means suspended. The mind is suspended. Aap dhyan karo, 2-3 hours, the mind is suspended there. Vrittis are there, but it is sleeping. The moment you come out, it will create an havoc. Temporary suspension of the mind is called Mano Laya. And what we are aiming is not Mano Laya, but Mano Nasha. When Atma Vichara begins, Mano Nasha happens. How it happens, all the technicality, everything is there, which I will reveal only in the retreats or this personal webinars of Upadesha Sara. It's very, very in detail. So it's all talking about Mano Nasha, not Manolaya. When you go to sleep, it is Manolaya. Mind is absent temporarily. Morning, get up, the whole drama. So big, long states of dhyana is not going to help. Long dhyana, the states of even samadhi is not going to help until the Mano Nasha happens. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, even in that state, see, Totapuri came and told him Mano Nasha, because until the mind is there, the visualization is there, and that was the biggest challenge for Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He was still not feeling complete, though at that state. Means what? If the Mano Laya is there, Mano Laya means Laya. You are gone into that intoxication. Bhava Samadhi. Samadhi is not the annihilation of the mind. It will keep you suspended. Real thing happens when the Mano Nasha happens. Because on the mental plane only all these experiences, darshan, all these things are happening. The mind has to die completely. So that is the exact journey of even Chidakasha Gita. What it says? Nirmal Man, Nishchal Man, Vishal Man, still the man is cleaning the mind. And for all this, prerequisite is Shuddha Bhavana. How to have Shuddha Bhavana is what I am very much emphasizing in shifting into awareness. When you practice awareness, Buddhi starts activating, Power of discrimination happens, and that power of discrimination is what cleanses your bhava. Your bhava sharira starts getting clean. Your bhava gets purified. So the practice of awareness leads to bhava shuddhi, shuddha bhavana. That leads to nirmal man, that leads to nischal man, that leads to vishal man, self-realization, and that ultimately you will realize sab mitti hai. That is when the mano nasha happens. Only when the mind dies, you will see sab mitti hai. Till then you can't. See how the deep links are with all these practices. So I want to get Chidakasha out in that frame, which I know the people regularly who read Chidakasha Gita are not in, they are contemplating it from a different angle. This is my perspective. If anybody wants to meditate and go deep into it, they can always have. Otherwise, whatever they feel fine is fine. Manonasha is very important. Manolaya is of no importance. Somebody came and told about a yogi who was in 1,000 years of samadhi. Uh, Told that he's to a great master that somebody has woken from a 1,000-year-old samadhi. 1,000 years he was in samadhi. The master was not really impressed. He said, "Ask, go and find out what did the yogi do the first moment when he came out of samadhi." And it was found out he asked for a glass of water first. Then the master explained, before going into samadhi, he had this desire of having a glass of water, but before he could have the glass of water, he had gone into samadhi. So all that happened after 1,000 years was that same vasana came up for that water and he had a glass of water. Means mano nasha nahi hua, mano laya hua tha, and that will still keep him bound in punarbi janmam punarbi. Can you see? So what looks very glamorous and very, very nice may not really still be liberating. So these are these texts that is leading to Brahmagyan or Atmagyan or Atmabodh. And for that, prerequisites are there. You cannot directly enter into Atma Vichara. Try it if you want. Take out any book of Bhagavan Ramana and try contemplating and find out where is yourself. You will not be able to do it. These are all steps. Now I understand what Arunachala is doing here. Because all these years, why I've been pulled there, there was a reason. Now I understand it. Now, the shifting into awareness, this practice independently happened. Then I moved into that zone. And now, when I'm reading that tattva there, I can see this is as a prerequisite. Now it becomes very easy with this to understand this tattva of Arunachala Shiva. The tattva of Arunachala Shiva can be understood very clearly with the practice of shifting into awareness when you live life of awareness. And that is precisely why when we entered into awareness only we were able to decode the Upadesha Saram altogether. Everybody. So it's like everybody getting into that state together and everybody having realizations, discussing, doing chintan, bringing out practical life incidents and all that. Doing very beautifully in that. Smita Rajan, surrender is the key. Thank you, Jacob. Only dissolution of karmas is the outcome of immediate cessation of engaging in karma. Ka, karma ka das justification for whatever reason stands in it. No, I would differ there. This is only a philosophy that we know that surrender is the key. Another philosophy is that only the karmas has to be dissolved. Now, how will the karmas get dissolved? When there is an ego there is a doer who is doing a karma to remove karma. That is what Upadesha Sara is telling you. The doer is there. Now, if this is karma, you're doing something to remove this. This act of your doing is also karma. This brings another fruits. The phala, karma phala, which comes when you catch on that and you do something out of that, that brings another. So even in spirituality also there is a karmic consequence. So karma annihilation does not happen with a doer. Karta say it will not happen. It will happen only when you enter into the mode of the soul. You abide in the soul and you allow the mind to function by itself without you getting involved in it. That is when the manonasha begins happening. The mind has to, where is karma? In your mind. Mani karta mani hi bhokta. So it's a good philosophy when we say the karmas has to, but nobody knows where the karma is, who is the burner. Find out who is the burner, who is the one who is burning the karmas. There is a doer sitting there. And who is a doer? Aham. And what is karma? Product of aham. So in another term, deeper terms, it is aham destroying the aham. Ego killing the ego. Ego can never kill the ego. And surrender is the key. Who is the surrenderer? We here, when we are getting into this awareness mode, when we are practicing our awareness, we are not any with any philosophy. I don't take any philosophy. I will want to investigate. I want to find out what is that. And when I find out, when I dig into that, I find out it's something else only. And then I think, oh, I have been thinking something else all my life. It is something else. And then I come and share it here. What I find out. Even surrender. Who's the surrenderer? When I say I have surrendered to the Lord or to my Guru, who's this I? Find out. It will always be the ego. It will say, I have surrendered. Can ego surrender? Let's come back to Mahishasur Mardini. Do you think Mahishasur, Asur, he surrendered? He fought the battle till the end. And when Ma Durga, Durga is nothing but consciousness or awareness in its full peak, when it's not sparing, why? Ma Durga can see. The power of discrimination. It is discriminating and seeing this is nonsense. When it persisted, the same Mahishasur changed forms. Suddenly, from a fierce demon, he became a simple thing. Oh, forgive me, mother. Are you going to kill me? I am such a poor bhakta of yours. I don't have any weapons in my hand, and you are so powerful. Blah blah blah, flattery, flattery. But Ma Durga doesn't spare. That is when the power of discrimination knows even the false in that what is seeming so nice, goody goody. So the ego will take different forms. Sometimes it will feel it as surrendered. Sometimes you see, it is our own thing only. We feel we have surrendered. We have not surrendered. I've seen so many people. Oh, my guru is doing everything. My God is doing everything. उसका उसकी जैसी मर्जी चल रही है जिंदगी और सब वो करता है. मैं तो समर्पित हूँ. And next moment they'll pick their mobile. अरे ये काम नहीं. हाँ, अरे वो काम क्या हुआ? क्या कैसे करेंगे उसका? Now अभी खुद कर रहे हैं. अभी थोड़ा सा एक क्षण पहले बोले कि कोई और कर रहा है. This is all the play of ego. This is how ego only keeps you confused. It keeps us confused in all these things. These are good words, good philosophies, but we have not gone into surrender. Upadesha Saram teaches you what is surrender. Upadesha Saram teaches you what is true bhakti. Sit with me for the verses. I will tell you what is true bhakti. I will try to explain and guide as to what is pure surrender. And when actual surrender happens, there is a certain annihilation of the I that has to happen. Then only the pure surrender comes. Till then, whatever is surrendering is the ego. And whenever the ego surrenders, it's very cunning. It will surrender only according to its own taste and whenever it wants. And it will justify, it will get out of it also, and we will not even know. The mind is very fickle minded, very, very fickle minded. Exactly the same. Chidakasha Gita has explained what is pure surrender, what is pure devotion. Exactly. And there he is talking about Parabhakti, which even Upadesha Sara is talking. These two are not different. Pure devotion, pure surrender is the same. If you have pure surrender, only you can have true bhakti, pure bhakti. If you are purest of bhakti, only you can have pure surrender. What is pure bhakti? Parabhakti, where Chidakasha Gita says it is desireless bhakti. Swarth ke liye, nothing, not even an iota in that. Only when you can reach to that state of pure bhakti, only can surrender happen. Only when you are in that kind of surrender can pure bhakti come. It's a very deep process. So till there, I wouldn't fall for these things, because if I feel I am surrender, I will question my mind. I will sit and contemplate, and I'll come to know, no, no, I have not surrendered. So I will take the practical approach than just believing somebody has told me surrender and I thought I surrendered. Good, you pointed out this, Mitaji. Very good. This became light here, since you put it in good intention, but it's a very good thing that I could be able to clear here. So annihilation of karma. The karma creator cannot destroy the karma. Who's the karma creator? The ego. It's my ego that creates karma. Always see. Only ego can create karma. When I have a separate feeling, when I am in the body consciousness, sharir bodh, then only I become the doer and I create karma. That is what Upadesha Sara is clearly revealing. Until you realize that and you go into that state mode where you are actually experiencing that there is something functioning through me and I cannot be the doer, there cannot be non-doership. Till then there is doership. And when that state comes and when you operate from that state, that is the perfect state of yogas, the Kurukarmani, where Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, you are not the doer, I am the doer through you, you just are an instrument. So you stay connected with me, become conscious and aware with me, stay in that alignment all the time so that you don't take doership. When you take doership, karma comes to you. When you are not the doer, you are an instrument, karma doesn't come to you. So who's the karma creator? The ego. Now, if I am the karma creator as an ego, can I destroy this karma? The question. Who's the killer of my karma? And what is karma? Ego. Product of ego. So can the ego kill the ego? It's very difficult to understand. Fathom this also. But when we don't understand, we just manyata. We believe. Oh, somebody has told. Okay, let's believe. Question everything. The path of awareness is ruthlessly question all your beliefs and refuse to accept until you have realized that truth. Any teaching. By the way, every Thursday I'm going to even attempt to bring out one teaching of my master. Every Thursday. It will be labeled as teachings of my master, where I want to actually clarify what I have taken. Now, I am not challenging anyone and saying that what you said was what you took was wrong or something. That's your take. What I have learned, I am just projecting it. This is what I learned from this particular teaching. You'll see that when you look at it from this awareness point of view, you'll see that, oh my God, I've been thinking this is something else. This is so deep. Every teaching has to be dissected with your razor sharp power of discrimination of your awareness. Then only you will get the actual message hidden in the every single message. If this is not there, all ignorance will happen. You can see the maximum population lost in the wrong ideas of the messages of the scriptures and all the great ones. The whole, you see, the whole population has gone somewhere else because the whole message is decoded in a very different manner. Only few who can code it, decode it properly in the right way get free. They get free out of it because these messages of messengers were supposed to free you, not bond you. And look at the people around, all are bonded in ignorance. That means the message has not worked. Simple indication. The teachings have to liberate you, and if it is bonding you, then you have done it the wrong way. So all these attempts we are trying to do to bring out the real essence of the teachings of everybody, the Tirthankars of Jesus Christ, of Nanak Ji, of Buddha, of my master, of Bhagavan Nityananda, Chidakasha Gita, of Bhagavan Ramanas, all the texts there. So whatever comes in your hand should have the scrutiny. Scrutinize it properly. So Upadesha Saram, I have not yet decided a date. Let me find out how the things, but you can send me your interest. I'll put it in the website. That also tick Upadesha Saram, so that whenever I create a session, it will be almost 6 hours in deep contemplation. So I will send the Zoom link to only those who register for that. Of course, there will be a nominal charge. I'm going to keep because that's the only way of commitment. We only when we pay for it only we feel bound by it. And then I think 23rd, 23rd Sunday is the Living in Your Presence, the regular program that I do. The first one I did was a super duper kind of a hit, you can say, because people realized it. I'll share the testimonials of all, I think around close to 20 people who shared it, all their experiences. of that whole webinar that they went through, direct experience, what they experienced during the session, and now even after their practice, what's happening in their life, they're sharing. So I'll share that also. This is on 23rd Sunday, that is the next Sunday again. So you'll see most of these lives that I was doing all the time will stop out. Even the Sundays one, I am putting it more on focused areas of life where seriously we are doing something live. I can't do that live. I was always generalizing, because here it's open to everyone. There is walk in, walk out. All that things will not happen in Zoom where we are registered. So Sundays I'll spend mostly in these kind of programs which will help us unwind and go deeper. And nights, whatever I said, these are all free ones. Like today is free, and fourth, when I'm giving the message of Tirthankars or teachings of Christ, or some other tips and guidelines of living in awareness, clearing your doubts, because that one session I will keep once in a month at least, where you write emails or whatever doubts you're having on this path, in your practices of awareness and higher realities. I will sit, and one day only we have done that before once. So that also will be there once in a month, where I'll sit for 3 hours and clear all the doubts of whatever is coming, whatever I feel I'm capable enough to do, whatever I know. Whatever I do not know, I will say no, I don't know. So this is again to clarify and to keep you things very clear and not live in doubt. You should not assume anything and do. You should always clear it out. So your names will be kept anonymous. I'll not take the names, only the questions. So you can always keep sending me through the email shiftingintoawareness@gmail.com, or you can send through direct messengers here, or those who are already signed in our WhatsApp group. There are many now, many of them who get all these updates. They can also send through the WhatsApp there, and I will gather it all and put it once in this clarity session where we are having this. So when you go through somebody else's question, you'll see, oh, I have similar questions. Maybe you couldn't ask, or you don't remember, and then a lot of things get clarified. And obviously, then we have the Kanjangad retreat this month. So I'm busy in the retreat again, 3-day retreat. And there we are completely living in awareness for 3 full days, completely connected with that zone there, and mostly working on the tattvas of Bhagavan Nityananda through the Chidakasha Gita. We are contemplating on the Chidakasha Gita, not reading the whole thing, but what is needed for our life, spiritual, that we will reflect. And if you have any doubts from the Chidakasha Gita, you are open, welcome to discuss it there only. So we will be aligned with that and Yoga Vashishta. So I'm just combining Yoga Vashishta and Chidakasha Gita in the Kanjangad retreat, and we will be visiting some beautiful places and meditating there with our eyes open. No closing eyes meditations. Uh, Realizing that we did that in the Tirunamalai retreat, where I told them it was called the walk of awareness. So we walk in awareness on the hill completely, and completely understanding certain. All cannot get it immediately, because until your tattvas are aligned with it, it will take some time. But that's okay. Even if you're unconscious, the koshas of the hill, the presence of the hill works on your koshas. But if you are aware of that working of the koshas on your koshas, it is very powerful experience. And people were going into bursting into tears and ecstasy, and all those things were happening while we were in the room doing those sessions. That emotional outburst and all these happening. This is when you tap, because Arunachala's grace was right in front of our face. We were thinking the hill is a few hundred meters far, but no, the radiation, the vibration of the hill radiates for 30 miles around the hill. So that means simply when I'm sitting there and doing these sessions, we are sitting, the whole tattva is right now in front of us. We just need the art of tapping that. And the moment that tapping happens, people have these kind of experiences, even in the room. And such a divine uh, moments of vibrations and all that. So same in Kanangad, which is already vibrant with Bhagwan Nityananda's energies, but hardly can we feel it. So when we do these kind of practices, it happens. And when I send people to the temple to go now with their koshas open, with a certain awareness on their koshas and what happens. Because all these temples are built to clear your koshas. You will see the temples have 5 parikramas from the Garbhagriha. One inner, then outer, then another, then the fourth one comes, and the fifth one is the street square up in the temples. All these major temples, they are all designed to work on your koshas. So if you walk in that awareness, a lot of things happen. So it's living in meditative states. Wherever you're going, whatever doing, with your eyes open, you are getting all these things. Krishna, when think all is well, does doership go away? No. Just by thinking, it will not go. It's just like a wishful thinking that I wish I need salvation. Uh, I wish for mukti. Your wish will never give you mukti. So thinking will not make it, because see, thinking, if you see very clearly, we all know. बोलने के लिए हम बोलते हैं कि वही करता है, वही करता पुरुष है, इट्स ऑल हिज विल, जैसे भगवान की इच्छा चलने दो, बोलने के लिए हम बोलते हैं, बट जो सच्चाई में बोल रहे हैं, उसकी इच्छा है, देन व्हाई आर वी सफरिंग? When we suffer, it is a clear indication that we are not understanding it is his इच्छा. Then we will think भगवान ने ऐसे क्यों किया मेरे साथ. There was one person who went into the session of this Upadesha Sara, and in the end, the person was crying and saying, भगवान ने ऐसे क्यों मेरे साथ, मेरे भगवान ऐसे नहीं कर सकते मेरे साथ. You can see the conflict, contradiction, and the ego and mind will try to justify it also. Even if you want to heal, we cannot heal such people. So it was very difficult to break through that. And person started crying, saying that I said, cry, but I will not spare you. If you want answer from me, because I can see where the catch is, where I can understand, I can become aware of what is your catch. You're not aware of it, that is why you're doing that mistake again and again. So if you come and sit in front of me and say, justify my mistake, and please praise my mistake and be with me in my mistake, don't see any otherwise, don't see any other thing, don't judge me for anything, just accept me the way I am and accept my nonsense the way I am and give me a solution. It's not going to happen. So that part was very difficult. And I was stern, very stern. And the person was, please don't judge me. I am in this problem, that problem. I said, no. Then you go elsewhere. If somebody you want to pacify, if you're sitting here, then let me get where the problem, where it said, let me touch that place where it's hurting the most. And where it hurts the most, only the healing can happen. You have not touched that place because it hurts all the time. I know these techniques. And there was rejection, there was friction, there was the resistance. And the resistance, there was crying and there was weeping and all that. Thinking that because only you weep, I will feel compassionate. No, I didn't spare. You weep out. Then after some time, when things clearly happened, when the person broke down completely, that is the perfect state to understand and realize. Because please understand, all our issues in life, all our sufferings, all our pain, all that we cry for all the time, and that has affected you so much, is only to bring you down to your knees. You who? The ego. Life will bring the ego down to the knees, and the day it falls on the knees, that is the best position to pray. That is surrender. Because then no more of I remains. I've given up now. Everything I've tried, it's not working now anymore. And that crying is different than the crying that says, why is this happening to me? Why is God so unmerciful to me? It cannot be that my life is this way. I cannot accept it. That crying is different, full of pain and no solution. This crying is different. So it began with that crying and ended up in this crying, when fell down on the knees and said, I give up, I've done anything. I said, now you get the solution. And then when the solution was told, went into meditative silence for 10 minutes, was in only the receiving mode of that silence. And then all the answers came in, complete answers came in. And the end was, the same person was complaining and cheerfulness, laughing and wiping the tears, but in laughter. He came and hugged and said, got it, thank you so much. So we only prevent our own stuff, and somebody is there to pacify, and then Gaya comes here. You have to catch that zone which is causing the problem. The solution lies there. If you have any questions, you can. And there was one person who came in the first batch, all in pain, all physical problems and all those things. And that's it. If you can, but that eagerness is there for the higher tattvas. That's enough. That is enough. Rest all he does, God knows. Whole 3 days, not able to sit, very uncomfortable. Every half an hour, I could see she was changing positions, moving, standing, trying, rubbing herself. All those things are happening. That's what happens when the energy moves in. All that is unwanted, it will come out. Lying down, and hearing, all those things. I said, do it, no problem. By the end of third day, okay, went away. Then for the second batch, the person had come. I saw, what happened to you? You're looking so happy and cheerful and all that. Laughing like anything and moving around so blissfully. Oh no, I'm feeling so much better. Bhaiya, that's all gone. And it's not, the same thing is not happening right now. So that's it. That's all that you need to do. Give it time. Give it time. So whenever we have these problems, you cannot demand to God and say, hey, get rid of my problems right now. So that crying that came from that person was saying, why is God doing this to me? And I don't believe my God can do this to me. Then who is doing this? I asked. Because that person was challenging. If Upadesha Sara says it is the divine will of the God, I don't believe God can do this. Then I said, who is doing? Find out. Or if you are so connected to your God, go and sit and ask your God, who is this doing? If you are in so favor of your God, this your God, personalized God, is the personal ego's God that you have created. Upadesha Sara is beyond all these things. So it is all the ego, cunningness of the mind that will keep on dodging here, there, here, there. It doesn't want to get straight into that. And I told, these kind of practices, don't use it for just quick remedies. You have to practice these things and stay connected to any tattvas. Wherever you feel connected, stay connected, but stay connected to the truth. There are plenty of such things in YouTube also who are very beautiful truths. Stay connected to anybody, but stay connected. Don't lose that touch. Abhi हाँ problem सुलझ गया. The person went back home and said, I have a lot of problems at home. Now things are seeming better. I said, but keep in touch with any of your higher goals. Always. In any ways. The day you lose touch, you will come back to that and life will knock you down again. Why? Because life wants to align. Because you are seeking is that. I want to liberate. So because you have sent that prayer request, that will keep on knocking you down. Anywhere you go into the samsara deep, it will knock you down. Not for everybody. Those who love it, most welcome. They can stay for millions in punarapi marnam, janma. The eternal Lord has eternal patience. Because he has no death, he is never, he's all the time there. He can wait for you for eternity. For those who are ignorant, but those who have taken the decision, no, I want to move, then that guidance, that divine will be very stern to get you online. You move away from the path, you forget, you become forgetful, it will remind you. Properly, it will remind you. And then you cannot cry and say, why am I getting this? It's getting because it's reminding you to come back on the track. You're getting back too much back into this worldly stuff. Things where you once said, I learned my lesson, now not. But again, the Maya pulled you back in. The power of that Maya. Forgot. You forget. Your subconscious will never forget. Your consciousness will never forget. It will bring you back on track. Your divine will not forget. It knows your agenda. It knows what you asked for, what are you asking for. Subconsciously, it will start giving you. Any questions, dear ones? Yes, these retreats do give you deep insights. It will help you find the real truth, provided you are ready to spend your time in it, provided you are ready to keep your world aside for those few days. Because I remember once when my Gurudev had given me this task, he had put the name as Awakening the Shiva Consciousness Within, and it was conducted in the ashram. So he had asked me to design these programs, and he told, anything, whatever you like, you see, I just want to go through it once, and then I'll suggest and I'll guide. So everything he was okay with. Only thing that he said was, only one thing I will decide: food. Rest all you do whatever. And he said, Subah khichdi, Sham ko khichdi, avdut khichdi, 2 times. And morning, if anybody wants, herbal tea, tulsi tea, bale tea. Because the focus on these areas is not anything of the world anymore. So I had added in that many things, like I told Gurudev, let's confiscate the phones first. Phone is a big problem. He was happy. He said, oh, go ahead, do it. So we added a line: phones will have to be surrendered. Whether you, this I'm saying, whether you surrender or not, phones will have to be surrendered. Because phones will not allow you to surrender. So phones had to be deposited on that 1 week program first. Secondly, we had mentioned clearly in the invitations, anybody who has a lot of worldly tasks, do not come with it. Do not come. Not invited. Anybody who can keep their business, their world, their family and things apart for a week and be able to spend time with themselves, only are invited. Gurudev was okay with it. He okayed everything. I added something called a walking in awareness part only. He was okay, he was happy with it. Everything he was happy with it. Only food, he said, because he knows the weakness of man. They will come and eat that only. They will come and focus on that. So here also, fortunately or unfortunately, we had the love, the bursting love of Raj Lakshmi. So she is like, no way. They're my guests. I'm going to treat them. And she pampered everyone, including Ashok Bhai, and it's their love. So she prepared all the time very beautiful Kerala, the Tamil Nadu, homely food, and the breakfast, and then she had some good snacks in the evening, and beautiful what do you call, the South Indian Sattvic food prepared from all the organic stuff, which she used to personally go into the market and carefully bring it from the villagers who brought all these vegetables and all that pure organic stuff. That love, nobody told her to do this. She said, I'll do it. Okay, you do. And everything she used to monitor with another two cooks, used to monitor, stand the whole day. She's in the kitchen and she's preparing and she's feeding everybody. She personally comes and stands there. I said, don't overfeed them, Baba. No, 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 you need energy. She'll say, you need energy. And she's always behind me all the time, bringing me whatever I wanted. Like, you have, because you need energy to speak. I said, Naima, it is not that way. The fundas are not here, the fundas are different. It doesn't work with food energy. She is not able to understand. No, you have, and you are not sleeping well. You are only sleeping for 3 hours. I'm seeing every day, whole day you are involved, and only 3 hours, 3.5 hours you're sleeping. You take rest. She'll tell everybody else, you don't go there, don't disturb him, let him be there. And I'm sitting other times also when we are not doing the course or anything. Door is open. I've kept the door open, and people who want, they come and sit and whatever they want to talk. So all the time somebody is there until night, 11:30, 12 o'clock. Regularly people are there. One night we sat till 3:30. There were four of us, four five of us, just sitting and talking till 3. I was only telling them, see, if it is not going to, you are not going to have a problem in today tomorrow's satsang, then please go and sleep. If you cannot, don't do that. And next day one person came with red eyes. I said, I told you then, don't do that. But there is enough time, we can do that. So she was like, no way, you should have good rest, you should have good food. That's the love. But then yes, everybody enjoyed having food, and then she went little overboard saying that, what special shall we do? I said, don't know, there enough. Now don't want. Now don't want. And what you're doing is more than enough. First of all, it is going over budget also, what you're doing. Why do you want simply losses? She was, no, I don't. It's okay, they should feel happy, it's a family. I said, good. That's God's blessing that you have such kind of a heart and faith. Because Ashok and Raj Lakshmi go do a lot of social service free of cost. I came to know that later. Good, whatever you're doing. So it's that heart only. And I said, Arunachala arranges everybody. Who does what? It is Arunachala's wish. So I don't know how these people came into my life, how these retreats happened, and they all fixed in. We had the taxi guy, Palani, his name is. He also came in through someone and all that. All Arunachala arranged. And he had 14 trips in this, 14, nahi, 15 trips in this whole 1 week, bringing in people, taking them back to the airport, and even taking them to some other places. I said two people were very keen, they wanted to go. I chalked out a 2-day plan for them, and I asked Palni, taxi guy, to take them down. They went to very powerful places before they finished it off. So who wants, they will get it that way. What they want, they can have that. And these are all the places which I have meditated. I've gained a lot. Went down to Tiruchinappalli, which is the Jala Tattva, because they are already in the Agni Tattva. Arunachala is Agni Tattva. Then when they had time, I said, go down to Tiruchinappalli, which is Jala Tattva. Jambukeshwar Linga is there. From there, they went down to Chidambaram. I asked them to hold that at night at Chidambaram, Akash Tattva. And then on that route, there are many other places. Mailadutura, I said, go, where 64 Siddhas along with the Jiva took, along with the Guru, took Jiva Samadhi. It's not a Siddhar card, forest of Siddhas, powerful places. Then the driver was constantly updating me. When I came to know they had reached Mailadutura, I said, okay, come back another half an hour. You have another place called Tiruvadudura. He said, no, it's river journey. I said, go, no problem if you are late. Then he took them to Tiruvadudura. That is the place where Tirumularjit meditated and wrote the Tirumandiram. And they were able to sit there. And from there, I connected them to other places. Kumbakonam. Kumbakonam is Swami Malay. Avadut Prakashananda is there, whom I have visited and had great, tremendous grace from him. So they sat, they went and they sat 2.5 hours there. And the driver is calling me up. Sir, you have given me this schedule, but it's very difficult, I think, because they are 2.5 hours past, they are sitting. I don't know what you have to tell them. I said, don't disturb them. They are sitting with an Avduta. Let them be. And he has granted the permission, let it be. Then from there, they went to other places and all that. Next day, I had given them another chalk out of Vadalur Ramalinga Swami, where he turned into light. They went to that place. But because of the delay, they were delaying, they could not go to Ekambareshwar, Kanchipuram. That is Prithvi Tattva. Otherwise, they could have completed even the Prithvi. So Agni Lingam, Jala Lingam, Akasha Lingam, and Prithvi Lingam could have happened. But anyways, they can do it next time also. Only one more is there, Vayu Lingam, that is in the Andhra Pradesh. So that Sri Kalahasti. That's little far, but okay, manageable. But it's all possible. If they need it, they have that pull, it's all there. And it's not me who's doing it, it's their pull. They wanted it, something flowed to me, I chopped it out, and immediately, within half an hour, everything, the whole trip was planned, and they were set out. So all the grace of Arunachala only, grace of Arunachala, all such people like these taxi guys and very, very humble beings, very nice beings. Actually, in his house, some other person also is staying there. For 30 days, somebody moved to Chennai and she didn't want to work from there. He said she'll work from Tiruvannamalai. So he arranged for her. All beautiful. How everything is taken care of by Arunachaleshwara if your intentions are pure. And if intentions are not pure, he takes care of that also to keep away. So it's very, very important. I'm telling you, this path, the intention has to be very, very purified. Otherwise, I have seen consequences also. I don't want to get into it, but I'm telling you, uh, sometimes people try to play a trick in these places, and they've tried many things with me also all these years. But there is a divine protector always. Lord Muruga is the divine protector of that place. The chief is known as the chief commander of Siddhas, Lord Muruga. Murugan's one is peacock. Shilpa, time to contemplate on what he said. Only after that question doubts. Only after that questions doubt arise. Well, I didn't get what you're trying to say, but what I liked is what you said, time to contemplate on that. Well, maybe yes, because solutions will come only after that. Till then, it's very difficult. Any other questions you have? And yes, somebody asked me, is there going to be trip for this place or that place in Arunachala? Can I have darshan of this? And I am not a tour operator, okay? So I'm making it very clear. I don't take people around to places. That's not my cup of tea. You want to go, you go anywhere you want. That's upon you. So somebody told me, oh, 3 days in the retreat, I feel like sitting here in Ramanashram whole day. I said, go and sit, no problem. Somebody said, I wanted to go in the temple of Arunachaleshwara and sit. I said to go and sit, no problem. But then don't come for the session. Sit. Don't be half here, half there, and all that. Do what you want, because that's the if that's the will of the Lord, that's fine. But then don't keep jumping around, because it will disturb the environment of these things. So if you understand and are ready to go with the flow, you can definitely. So if anybody, the people who could not come in the first or second batch, batch 3 you can join. I'll personally send you by today everything. I'll complete. I'll send all the details to you of the June event that's happening, and I think that is going to be a nice thing, because again there are a lot of people I know who are good enough for that. So one day I'm having a satsang for Westerners. I'm not keeping 3 days retreat for them, because they are very logical, they are very intellectual. They will. That is why, poor thing, they have this kind of pulling. They come down here, and they don't have much of rich karma kanda, so they can settle down. They have that patience to sit down and all that. But many are still stuck because they can't get into that zone, because the intellectual spiritual knowledge also stops them someplace. So these things cannot come by reading books. Many attempt by reading books to do it. The बोध होना चाहिए, बोध होने के बाद ही ये होता है. So some this was the feedback given by the Westerner only, and he was also having a lot of logic thing. But now he says, he with that experience, he says, and now I realize that more than knowledge, it's the experience. So he said, I have a couple of my friends, I just talked and they're ready. So whenever you're coming, I said, okay, we'll have in June. So whenever we have this batch, I'll have one day just for them. and if they are interested, then maybe another full batch they can join. But Westerners I will always keep separate, and Indians I will always keep separate, because the psychology of both are different, completely different. And so it can be a distraction when Westerners are there with Indians. It can be a distraction for Indians, and many times when Indians are there with Westerners, they can be a distraction for them. It took me some time to understand this, but it makes sense. They have to be addressed very differently. Anything else? If nothing, then I think we can. Okay. So what I will be doing is, I will first update the website and put all those details, and all those who have signed up for the WhatsApp group, then nothing to worry, because I share everything there on the WhatsApp group there. And I keep changing the WhatsApp group also, where I see there is no response, or you're not interested, or you're not consistent, or I keep rooming that also filter. So it's not that if you're in the group you will start getting like what bank sent you. Like, I had changed my address from here, ICICI Bank, and after 8 years I went back to that old home to meet my old neighbor, and I saw there was pile of notifications from the banks and all coming. I checked out and I found that banks is still shooting it. So whether you receive it or not is a that is not happen in this WhatsApp groups. I'm very nicely monitoring it. Those are serious, I'll keep it. Otherwise, I'll keep eradicating. Nothing else, right? Okay. So by today evening, I'll put up everything. I think by around 4 o'clock, you will get all the information on the events, because the time is less. I think there is some webinars are just 1 week, and I was busy in the satsang, so I could not. So just close events, you might need to register quickly right away for the webinars. And also there is this. Well, I think you have 2 months time for the June thing also, but maybe tickets and all you need to book in advance, so you can do that also. So I'll put the that, and Kanjangad, there is very less time. If anybody wants in to join, even the last moments, you can join in. It's by close to the end of this month. Dates, always put it to the people who have joined. You're most welcome to join there. So I'll put all these details there, and the rest I think I'll come back tomorrow or day after again online for a live. I think Mahavir Jayanti is there tomorrow, day after. So we'll talk little more on the deep tattvas of the Tirthankars and Lord Mahavira, where we will understand very much, which is all aligned with this kind of a truth here. So with much divine love and light to all of you, stay blessed. May we all evolve. May we all be free. I think some of you had left some certain things of you are there. It is all safe, nothing to worry. The only option is whenever you are up there next time, your asanas and certain things are there. So that will be taken care of. So asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma mritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Arunachala. Stay blessed then. Bye.